I have to go to bed at 10, so
Oh, okay, yeah.
All right.
this can only go so long.
Yeah. You can only do so much. All right, we're live. Good
We're
enough for me.
live.
Oh, I should probably pop the chat out. I haven't streamed in so long, I forgot how these damn things work.
It's
Got
my
that, too.
13-month anniversary.
Oh, shit. Pop that bad boy out here.
All right, let's link it, right? This is Polyhead. Yeah, it is.
Yeah. Rhett, thank you for the subscription. You are the best subscriber to my channel.
I have no idea when I actually last subscribed.
It said 13 months, didn't it?
Yeah, but since you haven't been live for a while, it just queues that up for next time.
Oh. I thought
Yeah.
I thought it was just consecutive. Like, I think that if you miss a month, regardless of how it happens, it resets.
You may have streamed within a month. I don't know.
I don't know. Fuck it. Who cares? Streaming is dumb. Nobody should do it.
Oh, jeez. What
Basically.
about speedrunning?
Speedrunning? What's that? That is not a thing that I do.
Oh,
No, I'm kidding. I like it. I got no beat. Somebody want to put that in the Discord, too, that we're live?
Yeah.
I'm lazy and don't want to do it.
I just typed dick into the thing and said
Boom!
Discord.
Perfect! That's all you
Discord.
need. It's just dick. Just type a link to the stream and just say dick.
Okay.
Yo, what
Okay,
is up, Heather? How's it going? How are you?
Oh, yay.
Hope you're feeling better. Heard you were feeling kind of poopy.
Okay, John posted the link and I said dicks.
Dicks! There you go. They are dicks.
Good.
The people
Got the
that
whole
host
brand
that
going.
fucking stupid podcast. Feeling a bit better. That's always good to hear. And listening to this dumb live podcast only going to make you feel better.
For sure.
It's never been a disaster before.
It always makes me feel better.
Let's get someone on to talk about Monster Hunter. Bringing out the classics.
Or Kingdom Hearts. Oh, shit.
Oh, fuck.
Oh, no.
Have we ever talked about what's that? I don't think we've ever talked about that on the chat on the Sockscast somehow.
Yeah.
Have y'all never played it and brought it up?
No.
I've definitely never played it.
I've played it. I've very for sure played it.
Well, there you go. I don't know why that would come up.
So we're just gonna wing it, and you'll know when to cut yourself off. I ain't nobody needs to you know how much you can talk about what you need to do.
Cool.
We've done fucking almost 100 of these. If you count if you count spoiler casts, game of the year casts, all that shit, we've done almost 100 of these. I would hope that we're at least a little bit professional now. Despite the lack of professional equipment, and then I'm an audio engineer.
Tea.
Tea's good.
That's good.
It's all right.
All right. Should we?
Well, we got about I'm
I'm
gonna wait another few minutes, see if anybody else.
Just let people trickle in.
Yeah, let them trickle in like a nice whiz. Just trickle on in.
I turned off the AC, and that's not happening. Boop.
Yeah, don't turn off the AC. ACs were made to destroy the atmosphere and make you cool. It's a good trade-off. Don't worry.
For sure.
What's up, Jetstorm?
Hi, Tom.
Rhett. Good lord.
Sorry. So nasty.
I know, right? Burps and farts aren't funny.
Farts are very funny. What are you talking about?
It's true.
We're as professional as we're gonna get.
Which is not very.
No.
Can I get on the bed?
There you go. That's all you needed. Just podcast from the bed.
Shit, why am I not doing that?
Y'all missed it earlier. Rhett was nude. I was talking to Rhett while he was completely naked.
Not the first time.
No, it's not.
Not the first time you've done that with me, too.
Probably. I wouldn't doubt it. I wouldn't doubt that every fucking conversation I've ever had with you is you naked.
Oh, and I'm blocking the AC, too. It's just going to protect the microphone. All right, am I coming through clear?
Yeah.
Because I'm very comfortable.
Okay, you're going to actually podcast from a bed, aren't you?
I don't know, maybe.
I mean,
I'm
I'm
coming
not
through clear?
You're coming through just fine.
All right.
Now what we got to do is we got to do a bunch of like, no, John, we need to show you this link. We got to do a bunch of that. Get him out of bed. That'd be real nice.
Okay.
Bedcast. Bedcast. That's another podcast we do. It's slightly different in topical nature. We're doing episode 69 next week.
Is it a sex podcast?
Oh, that's probably the joke I was going for, John.
Okay, gotcha.
You caught on.
What is
Good job.
Wait, what is a sex podcast?
Oh, jeez.
I mean,
Is it a podcast where we talk about sex? Is it a podcast? Is it just a recording of sex?
Recording of sex would be. I think that's the way you go. Sometimes, like, you want ASMR at work, so you want to hear some shit slapping against skin. You know, you just want to hear some raunchy ass shit while you're typing data into the database.
No, I'm thinking of now ASMR sex podcast where they're doing it really quietly.
The least interesting sex imaginable.
Let's see, who else is here? That's banned from iTunes and Google Play.
We would be. Actually, no, we're still on Google Play, weirdly enough. We're still there.
Wait, are we off iTunes?
No, we're not off iTunes.
Okay, I thought so.
I don't think so. I haven't checked the account in a year. I just set it and forget it, man. You give it the RSS feed, it knows what to do. And if it falls off...
And that's ban our ass.
Yeah.
Boy, y'all, I don't know what an RSS feed is.
And no one else does anymore.
No, nobody else does either. It's weird.
Never figured it out. Sorry.
I tried making one myself once for my site, and then I got real fucking mad at it and said, fuck it.
So it goes. Oh, I love this bed. I slept on an air mattress for a month.
Maybe he'll fall asleep before talking about Kingdom Hearts.
That's a good outcome.
Maybe we'll fall asleep while he's talking about Kingdom Hearts.
Oh, that's a given. It's just,
one of these things will happen.
Here's your 1 hour space to monologue. We are going to go nap.
Keyblade.
Oh my god. Well, it's looking like it's about that time. So what do you say we get started?
Okay.
Go for it.
And that was our cold open, Sockscast episode 79. I'm sure I'll plug in somewhere for the people that are getting the download version somewhere during that dumb conversation we were just having. And we'll just roll it from there. Hi, I'm your host, as always, Polly, and to my immediate virtual right. He's not a donut. He's not.
Not?
Not a donut. It's Rhett.
Oh, I wanted to be a donut. They're so delicious.
They are delicious. Well, you are delicious.
Oh, you're going to put me in your mouth?
Yes. Yes.
I
want all the frosting.
God damn it.
Give me that glaze, baby.
Oh, you're going to be... I thought of a joke so fucking dirty I can't say it.
Say it, you chicken shit. Say it, chicken shit. Let's hear it.
I'll make you a creep with it. This is a way to start.
Good start, everyone. Good start. So,
just move on if you want.
How's it going, Rhett?
It's going pretty good now. I was a little kind of out of it, and now I'm like, oh, I'm wired into this podcast now.
Oh yeah, you are all up in this podcast now.
The shower now. I'm like, oh, okay, it's time to be funny.
Was that ever a goal of ours to actually be funny?
I thought it was kind of the primary goal.
I don't think we've ever succeeded.
I think we have. Did we ever actually do a best of episode?
No, I did like a best of montage at the end of episode 50. And I have a bunch of clips saved from episode 51 up through, I think, 67 or 8. And so I've just been collecting clips as we go, obviously. So there'll be like a clip cast at some point.
Okay.
Maybe when we hit 100 episodes.
That's what I was thinking of.
Yeah, Heather just asked if this is supposed to be a comedy podcast. It's actually an informative, critical podcast.
Yeah.
It's everything.
We're very smart. We have big brains. Rhett's got a big dick.
Okay, you have to mention that every episode. It's in my contract.
It actually is. I will whip that contract out later.
Just slam it on the table.
Slam it right on the table, just like Rhett does every day.
I bring the big brain. Rhett brings the big dick. Polly brings the big tire iron.
There you go. That's how it all works. That's how it all works. To my immediate virtual left, he's free. It's John. Fuck the motherfucking free man Thayer.
Well, free starting tomorrow.
Free starting tomorrow. I'm going to avoid saying too much.
This is such a heel turn given this podcast in the past.
I know, right? Oh my word! Oh my word! John Thayer, are you ready to be the biggest brain that we can have? Because I think we started off on a really dumb note so far.
Oh yeah.
And we may
I don't know if I can really continue. Like, my delicate childlike sensibilities have been thoroughly scarred by that intro. What is this?
Do you think you could insert your intelligence stick into this podcast and ejaculate some intelligence into it?
Okay. So y'all's thing with John's 12. I got a haircut, and then like the next day, a lady walked up onto me to meet me on the street and said, "You look so young. You look so young. How old are you?" What? I wouldn't have guessed. And then a coworker said, "You look like you're 12 years old."
Oh my god.
So I was just like, "Oh my god, they were right."
You have to go buy beer now. Get carded.
Yeah, that'll make you feel better. Every time, it'll make you feel better.
Yeah. No, not beer. I can't drink beer, right? Because
it gives him butt problems.
Oh. What about wine?
What?
Wine?
Oh, wine. I can have
okay. Because I bought wine
after a break.
I bought some wine yesterday, and they didn't card me, and I was a little disappointed.
Aww.
Getting old. You're showing it. It's that new job. It's put some grit on you. Like, you work in a factory now. You're like Mr. Macho Man. You've got, like, 27-inch biceps and shit now. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
It's like the Donkey Kong Country level?
Basically, yeah. That's
how they work.
Rhett is just...
Here, wait. Let me just list factory levels from video games for 20 minutes.
That'll be good. That'll be great content. Let's do it.
Ratchet and Clank.
Oh, Ratchet and Clank's got a shit ton of factories. Final Fantasy VI.
Okay.
That one's real good. There's a bunch of Sonic levels.
Yeah, I actually work in the egg carrier.
Oh, there you go.
All right. So... Believe it or not, there's a point in this fucking thing where we actually talk about shit. I sometimes think this is the best part of the podcast and we should only ever do this part.
It's pretty fun.
It is, right? We'll just free will it from now on. No more games talk. It's over.
Well, no, there's one more game we're talking about
here.
Don't worry.
All right.
There's exactly one more and then we can stop talking about
games. Are going to be banned after John talks about a certain game.
Yeah, we're done. It's over. Games are just kaput. Rhett!
Yup. Hi.
What have you been doing?
It's going good.
What have you been doing?
So as you briefly mentioned, I started a new job about a month ago now. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, I forgot to post my 1 month anniversary. Oh well.
God, it's been a month already. Crap.
It's been a month already. I know, time fucking flies.
Woo. And you've only bought me one Steam gift.
Well, maybe 2 coming up.
Buy me things!
Oh. Well, Ys comes out in a couple weeks.
Yeah. That hot new Memories of Celceta comes out. It's gonna be some
that
good
hot
shit.
new Vita jam.
Yeah.
We're taking the Vita and we're porting all the good games off of it.
They really should at this point.
Oh, they've not at this point. They've basically done it over the last year.
Oh yeah, I don't know what original games there are on the Vita that I care about. Like everything is is elsewhere.
It's just like the Dreamcast ended up. and pretty soon the Wii U.
Yeah.
They just need. I really want to play Wonderful 101 because someone took the Wii U, so that's the only game left on it that I cared about playing that's not available elsewhere.
The Wonderful 101's pretty good.
Yeah, I want to play it.
That game's pretty good.
I hope it comes to Switch at some point.
I hope so too, because Bayonetta 2's there, and that's the other one, and then a billion Mario games, and that's all of the Wii U.
Oh, right, that's the Wii U. Yeah, Mario Maker, motherfucker, port that shit.
Yeah, y'all can't play Mario 3D World or Mario Maker, so y'all are screwed. But I got to play those thoroughly. So
I think Land was better.
Really?
Mario 3D Land?
Yeah, I think Land was better.
That's fair.
I played about halfway through World, and I found myself bored, but that may just be because Nintendo hides all the good shit after World 8 these days in those games.
Yeah, I fucking hate it. It's the worst. Yeah, there's a lot of good shit in 3D World, like in that back end.
Oh god, like, new Super Mario Brothers U. Oh boy.
God. Yeah, I finished 3D World and then I was like so thoroughly satisfied. I was like, I don't ever want another game like this from Nintendo. They finished it.
Well, it doesn't look like they're interested in doing it again either. So,
probably. I mean, they kind of went in pairs. Like they did Galaxy 1 and 2, and then they did 3D Land and World, and then they did Odyssey.
Yeah. So, Rhett, what have you been doing?
So what have I? So back to my segment. So since I am now gainfully employed, I bought a Switch.
Nice.
Little segue in there.
Nice segue.
Yep.
Nice segui.
Gooey. So I bought a Switch and Zelda and a Pro Controller and a Switch traveling case and a screen protector. Did I mention Pro Controller? I think I did. So Zelda and the DLC for Zelda. So that game cost me like $500 or something.
Way more than that. Yeah, it was way more than
completely insane, but that game's pretty good. Like to the point where you go, yeah, this was a worthwhile investment.
Hell yeah. So you played, how much? You played a lot of Zelda, right?
I played a lot of fucking Zelda.
You got the DLCs and the whole.
Okay.
Give us a rundown.
Rundown. Jeez, it's like hard to know where to start with this game. So a few years ago, a game called Mass Effect 3. Wait, I'm going somewhere with this.
Go for it.
A game called Mass Effect 3 came out, and on Giant Bomb, the staff played through it, and they were profoundly disappointed. As like the whole internet was profoundly disappointed with Mass Effect 3. And then right before the end of the year, Brad Shoemaker of Giant Bomb plays through Mass Effect 3 with all the DLC installed. And had a great time.
Yeah, that was my experience with ME3.
Yeah. So it felt like something was missing literally from that game to begin with, but they kind of finished it a bit later.
Yeah.
So I bought Zelda, and I immediately bought the expansion pass thing, and I played that game entirely on the harder difficulty, which people are like, oh, you shouldn't do it, it's way too hard. And I'm like, yeah, but the number one complaint I see about this game is that it gets way too easy, like 20 hours in. And you just kind of start steamrolling things. So basically,
you're also among a certain demographic of friends, I think, compared to a lot of people.
Yeah, it's like
you die in this game. Ah.
Yeah, I'm not afraid of dying in games. I played all the Souls games, like whatever.
You're a hardcore elite gamer.
Yeah, I didn't want to make it sound like that way, but it's like a game that rewards like analyzing enemy behavior, not just mashing in, rushing in stuff, and like. Trying to stealth around these camps. So like the first couple hours of that game on master mode are fucking nutty hard, where it's just like I'm not sure I killed anything on the plateau because it's just completely unfeasible. Because what master mode does is it takes every enemy in the game and ups them a rank. And they have health regen now, So after like 5 seconds, which is not very long, they start just regaining all their health back, which kind of fucks with a lot of like the cute like environmental stuff you can do, where it's like, oh, I'm going to push a boulder off a hill and it'll land on that camp and injure those enemies. So you do that and they lose like a quarter of their health now.
But then they're gaining it back 5 seconds later.
And then they stand up and immediately gain it back, and you're just like, well, okay. So it does kind of screw with the combat that way.
Mm-hmm.
But so I looked up. So once I had finished the game, I looked up how much like enemy ranks affect their HP, and it's profound. Where it's like a red Bobokin will have like 13 HP, but you don't get any of them on the master mode. The weakest will be a blue one, which has 70 HP.
Wow.
So it's like over 5 times stronger.
That's quite a jump. Yeah.
That's every enemy in the game is like 5 times stronger than they would be normally, practically. Because towards the end it levels out where it's like, oh, this one has 720 HP and this guy has 1080. Like, it's not a huge jump, but the lower enemies are like insanely, like a huge jump there.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, Zelda is a game that feels so talked about, where it's like I'm not sure what else there is to say about it, because it's just like, yeah, I had a great time exploring that world and doing like literally everything you could besides all the fucking Korok seeds, because there's way too many of those. Mm-hmm. But those are also a thing you're not meant to get all of them, because there's 900 of them, and you only
just wanted to make sure there are a lot of you. You stumble onto a lot of them because there are so many of them, and as long as you're not worried about getting all of them, it's fine. Was kind of my experience.
Because like the reward for getting all of them is literally a piece of shit. Just give you a golden turret statue, and it's like, okay, like good job.
You're having a real good time taking the piss out of the player with that. Good job.
Yeah. But like, I understand in concept, it's so that like wherever you are in the world, there's always a Korok seed nearby, in order to reward exploration.
Mm.
But like they get a little fucking predictable with where they are, where it's like whenever you're in like an area that's kind of like mountainous, it's like you just go to the highest peak. There's always a Korok seed up there.
Yeah.
I went to the top of Hyrule Castle, like the tip top of the entire game world. There's a fucking Korok seed up there. There's like multiples up there. It's just like, okay, like you always put one on the highest point in like every town, every mountain. It's a little silly.
It's a very like simple formula to communicate to the player to follow.
Yeah, because that game is all about, verticality and climbing, and that's one of the things that really I think sets it apart from other open world games, is like how vertical that whole world is, and like how they really exploit like using the landscape and like looking off into the distance from a high vantage point and seeing stuff in the distance, being like, oh, I want to go there, I want to go there.
Mm-hmm. It's like the thing that everyone did where they climbed to the top of the Empire State Building in Spider-Man 2 and then jumped off, like,
yeah,
but like stretching that out, but like making a bigger thing out of it.
Yeah, and the smartest thing they do is give you the hang glider like super early, and then
the hang glider is so gorgeous.
It's so good, and you use that thing so much, and like you feel like you're cheating by just going so super high and then just hang gliding for like a minute somewhere.
That's all I would want to do in that game, is just play with the hang glider. That's like, just give me a completed file and just let me run around.
You can do a lot of that. You get a lot of time to just do that.
Yeah. Yeah, because it's a very long, stretched out game. Like, like when people used to complain about like Hyrule Field and Ocarina being kind of big and empty, this is that like 20 for the entire game. And the funny thing is that there is a Hyrule Field in this, right in the center of the map, is like just completely flat and empty, but it's also the hardest area in the game because they put a bunch of the Guardians there. So it's kind of like you're always kind of pushed to the outskirts of the map, really.
That's pretty cool, actually.
Yeah.
Yes.
One really dumb thing that they did is that there's a bunch of DLC outfits you can get with the expansion pass, but you can't upgrade them to make them stronger like all the other armor, which I didn't know. So I was pretty late in the game. It's like, oh, I'll go get the stuff that's in Hyrule Castle, like right next to there's a piece of armor that's like above the final boss door, which is really goofy. So I go in there, get that, ignore the final boss, and leave. And then I find out you can't upgrade it, so my other stuff is already better. I'm just like, guys, why would you do that? Like that?
Yeah, it's a bad design decision right there.
I saw a lot of people complain about the Divine Beast dungeons being kind of bad, and I kind of agree.
Aw, I really like them.
Like, they're so cool conceptually, and I really did like the flying one, because just on this fucking huge thing flying around the map. But, like, I don't know, the dungeons were always just kind of like, oh, that's it? Like, I don't know.
Like, the dungeons are kind of not the point of the game, and I'm not trying to discount it or say they can't be criticized, because I think that it's completely fair to hold it against the game that the dungeons are kind of bleh. But, yeah, that's not the game.
No. Yeah, and
I like them. I just like them because they were short, and also because they had puzzles that weren't oriented around, like, finding the item in the dungeon. Like, they just had puzzles that were puzzles instead of find the item.
Yeah, but because of the shrines, that kind of stuff is scattered all over the game already.
Yeah.
So the Divine Beast dungeons are kind of like longer shrines, basically, and a little more open in how you can go about them. But I did like they're great as a change of pace, and like probably the most exciting moments of the game are when you're like mounting your assault to get on the Divine Beast.
Yes.
Like there's moments where like you're chasing this thing through the desert on a fucking like seal and like shooting its legs. It's like
your Shadow of the Colossus. Yeah.
Yeah, that's literally what I was about to say. And then so there's 3 like big dramatic moments like that, and then the 4th one is an escort mission. And I did that one last, and I'm just like, oh, okay.
Which one was that again? I forget.
The Goron one. You walk him up the mountain.
Oh yeah. Oh god, yeah. I remember that now.
So that was the last one I did. It's just like I understand, but aw.
Especially since it's the one on a volcano.
Yeah, it's one of the coolest settings.
Ugh.
So
when you
beat each Divine Beast, you get like this power, and then once you beat all 4 of them, you unlock the DLC mission, the Champion's Ballad, which is like unlocks 4 more shrines for each area. And so basically, I didn't fast travel the whole game until this point because it just becomes kind of unreasonable at that point, where it's like, oh, here's all the stuff like scattered all over the world all over again. So you do these shrines, you do some new quests, and you get upgraded versions of those powers. Like one of them's like hit all enemies in an area with a huge lightning bolt 3 times, and then normally it's like a 7-minute recharge, and you get it down to like a 3-minute one. So it's like, oh, this is actually like, if a fight lasts long enough, say against the final boss, you might be able to use it more than once.
Poncho Smith says he never rode a horse once in the game.
I very rarely rode horses. Like, I just fucking walked everywhere and didn't fast travel because I am nuts. Sorry, the thing, I guess I'll just summarize. The thing I really liked about this game is, on the harder difficulty especially, is how focused it is on your eventual the one thing that matters, kill Ganon. Like, that's literally like the second quest they give you, kill Ganon. And so it's at the top of your quest log the entire game.
That's incredible.
So when you beat the game, it fades to white, and then it just does this big dramatic kill Ganon. Check. Complete. It's so goofy.
Ganon's a fucking check mark.
Well, it just plays like the normal like quest complete thing, but in the screen with a white background, like making it all kind of dramatic. And it's like at the end of Majora's Mask when it says, instead of like 72 hours remain, it just says Dawn of a New Day on white. Like it's being cheeky really with kind of the format of the game.
Yeah.
But yeah, because this game is so hard though on Master Mode, like at one point I was just kind of like, early on I was like, well, what am I actually doing here? And I realized like the goal is to get stronger. And the goal, which means doing as many shrines as possible and getting as many hearts as possible, because you will get one shot killed for like a fucking while. Like I've had stuff hit me for like 12 hearts, like the golden enemies, like insane amounts of damage you can take.
That's a long ways away from our Wind Waker 1/8 of a heart damage.
Oh man.
Yeah. So yeah, like I did everything pretty much possible except power up the Master Sword, because the quest to do that does not scale well to Master Mode, because when everything's like 5 times harder and it strips all your gear away, it's like, oh, this is like unreasonably difficult now. But
okay. That sounds fun. I didn't do the Master Sword.
You should do them on the normal difficulty, though. That's the problem.
Gotcha. Well, I didn't get... I leveled up stamina fully before I did hearts, and you need a certain number of hearts, just like the original Legend of Zelda, to get the sword.
Yeah, you never even saw the sword, did you? Did you see the Deku Tree?
No, I saved everything except for, like, one dungeon and the Master Sword, and then I was like, I just want to go beat the game. So I did.
Oh, so you didn't do all 4 Divine Beasts?
No, I did do the 4th one. I almost just skipped it, but then I went and did the 4th one, and then I went straight to Ganon. Yeah. I did all 3 labyrinths, though, which have the same music, I think.
Oh, yeah. Those are fun.
I love those, yeah.
Yeah, there's... On part of the map, there's just these fucking huge mazes, and, like, you think you'll be able to cheese it by just hovering over them. And then it's just, oh, there's little doorways down here that you can't see from above. So it's real evil. Like, there's little passages, so you can't just cheese it by getting above it.
Yep.
So, yeah, I just liked how singularly focused this game is on, like, eventually getting strong enough to kill Ganon, and then on the harder difficulty, like, having done everything, did the Champion's Ballad, powered up all those abilities, Ganon's still real fucking hard. By the way, all the bosses have HP regen, too.
Oh, good!
Yeah.
That's my favorite boss gimmick already, but let's put it on every boss ever.
So... they will only regen to a point. Like, it kind of goes in, like, stages of, like, 25 or 12% HP. Like, they won't completely refill, but I will say it's super funny at the start of the Ganon fight. If you've done the Divine Beast, like, they'll all hit him for, like, 25% of it. Like, they'll take off half of his life total.
But then it heals right the fuck back up.
Back up, like, up to 60%, and I'm like, son of a bitch.
This is pointless!
It wasn't pointless, but, like, yeah, and then towards the end of that fight, like, he starts getting... basically invincible armor on everything.
Oh.
So you really have to just be, like, getting every possible, like, counterattack point in. Like, it's like the end of Dark Souls where the game is like, hey, did you learn how to parry? Because you better know now.
You better do it. That better be all you fucking do.
Yeah. So it's like, you gotta parry this, then use the lightning to do this, then hopefully your Goron shield is up to stun him again, and then it's like getting, like, 5 stuns in a row just to finally lock him down and get his HP to 0 was real exciting. And then there's a big kind of dramatic
Sonic Adventure fight.
Yeah, that's the best way to put it. You fight Bio-Lizard.
Yeah.
Link goes into space and he pulls... Oh yeah, you can use the motorcycle in the final fight. Because there's a motorcycle in the DLC. It's a great game.
I'll go to the Champion's Ballad stuff.
I thought the pacing of it was super weird. Because, like, when I defeat the 4th Divine Beast, that's like your go beat the game moment. So having all this other stuff pop up, because first it asks you to go back to the plateau, and then you go back to the 4 Divine Beast stuff, and it's just like it's good, but I was a little exhausted by the game at that point, because I was like 80 hours in. It definitely screws up with the pacing.
Okay.
But, I don't know. Like, there's the 5th Divine Beast is, like, it's fine. Like, it's probably the best one, like, puzzle-wise. But I was never super huge.
No, they have another one.
I mean, it's crazy how much they make you work for it, because you have to be, like, do all, like, either 16 or 20 of the new shrines to get to it. It's, like, the very last thing, and then there's a boss at the end that's maybe harder than Ganon.
All right. So it sounds like if I revisit the game, what I want to do is buy the DLC and play it on Master Mode.
Oh, but then you're replaying the whole game. That's...
Yeah, I know. No, I'm talking about in like 3 years or something.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah, I would not do that without some significant time. Because I see people talking about doing multiple playthroughs of this game, and I'm just like, how, why would you do that?
It's the same thing with all their new Mario games and whatnot. It's like they want every game to completely exhaust you by the end.
Yeah.
Like, the nice way to say it is that they want to leave you completely satisfied.
Yeah. So I understand from, like, a value prospect, but yeah, there's always something for leave them wanting more, which is how Yakuza 0 felt for me. And then there's a sequel to that, which left you completely satisfied. So are we doing round robin, or am I just talking about all these things right now?
Just round robin it.
Okay. Who's up next?
I don't care.
Pie.
Me.
Oh, okay.
Well, John wanted it. John wanted it, so John, take it.
Okay. I think I've got two kind of topics. So, I've played 2 quintet games actually for the first time.
What'd you play?
I played Soul Blazer and Illusion of Gaia.
That first one's real good.
Yup, Soul Blazer's real good, huh?
Mm-hmm.
I really, yeah, Rhett.
I liked Illusion of Gaia. I just don't remember anything about it besides a pig dying.
The pig doesn't die. It sacrifices itself. It literally fucking sets itself on a spit for you.
That'll do, pig.
That'll do.
Starving village. Feed you and starving villagers who are going to eat you otherwise. He saves your life. It's very nice. So Soul Blazer's really cool and smart. I constantly was posting little bits of dialogue from that game because I really, really liked the writing. Just all throughout it. Like the basic premise of Soul Blazer is just that like you show up at this empty village or town or whatever, and there's no life, no anything, and then you go into this dungeon, and as you complete the dungeon and kill these and beat these enemy spawn points up, they free souls of things, people, animals that lived in this town. And then you see them pop up back to life. Their house will rebuild around them, and then you can go up and talk to them. And often you'll be talking to someone, and then that will open up another progression point in the dungeon. So you're going back and forth, starting from nothing to building like this big thriving town.
And you do this over the course of like many different kinds of many different locations, and it's
like 6 areas basically.
Yeah, it's
like,
always really good.
Yeah. Like there's one, the first one is just a basic RPG town. The second one is all animals in the woods. Mm-hmm. And you're an angel basically, so you can talk to everything, including like the flowers and the rocks and the trees and the hear the everything.
So wait, this sounds a little like ActRaiser.
It's by the same people.
Okay, I was going to say this sounds like.
But this is more of like just a top-down action RPG from start to finish, whereas like ActRaiser is wearing many hats at once.
Yeah.
So it sounds like ActRaiser 2, dropped all that stuff, and this is like the kind of the other path on that fork.
Yeah.
Exactly. This is the thematic sequel to ActRaiser. I think that's exactly on point.
Cool.
That's what I was thinking playing it. It's like ActRaiser, but they just made everything kind of consistent, where you're interacting with the people in the dungeon with the same, movements. So it's probably less fun, but I think it holds together a little better, and the writing is better, I think.
Oh, it's way better. I think, yeah.
You don't have the Yuzo Koshiro score, though.
But the music's still good.
It's still good. It's still good as music.
Like, there's still a lot of fucking tunes that I can just, like, hear in my head at any moment from that game that are just, like, awesome. I love that soundtrack.
Cool. Yeah, I really liked it, too. Especially, like, that first dungeon theme was like, oh, okay, yeah, I'm here for this.
Mm-hmm.
There's one town that's full of these, like, dwarves, basically, and all of them live complete lifespans in 1 year, and then die. And then, so you're talking to all these people that have been around for like 8 months, and they're like talking about, oh, I'm gonna die. And they've all like, it's like a whole race of people that are really at peace with death.
It's really fucking unsettling for an early SNES game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of, it reminds me a bit of Kino's Journey in a way, where you're constantly interacting with these different cultures and different value systems. All that kind of tie into this one big overarching plot. It's really, really fun. Man, I need to go replay that fucking game.
It's just like good, right? It's a worldview where all of these, by just having like, it literally says like, oh, the rocks have a soul that's just as valuable. The flowers have a soul that's just as valuable and special as the humans. There's the mermaids, there's dogs, you go and talk to the soul of a dead dog that everyone admired.
Man, and that's real sad. Because you actually see the dead dog.
Aww.
Yeah, you do. You see the dog skeleton. Yeah, it's... I want to say it's, like, humanistic. It's... Both this and Illusion of Gaia, I think, have that, where they have this, like... the worldview on display in the game. Like, you're not really playing it for big dramatic moments.
No.
There's not like Kefka blowing up the world or whatever.
You're here for these vignettes that kind of play out, and like those little stories are always really interesting or touching, or just they leave you, like, each one leaves you with something a little different.
Exactly. I think that it's just kind of that there's this worldview in the game that just comes across continuously as you're playing it, and the worldview is really warm
and positive and loving.
And positive. Yeah.
It's and like, kudos to the localization, because for an early localization, like, it's still like, it doesn't have the clunkiness that you see in a lot of localizations from that era.
Yeah, I was really impressed with how strong the writing came across.
That's really cool, because
keeps it punchy and poetic, I think.
Yeah, a bad translation sounds like it would totally ruin what's special about this.
Yes,
because it's the writing. Like, it's fun to play. I really like how the dungeons change their level structure as you beat up the enemies. Like, you'll either free a soul or it'll change the level in some way, like remove a barrier or just totally change the shape of the nearby area.
Yeah.
It's got all these shortcuts. Like, the way it does shortcuts is really, really tactful. Like, they'll put up a bridge that'll just, so instead of checkpointing constantly, it's just giving you these shortcuts back to the start of the level.
So it's Demon Souls.
It's just like Demon Souls.
Demon Soul Blazer.
Boom.
Demon Soul Blazer.
There it is.
Yeah. And it just keeps going and wraps up nicely, and it made me feel warm and good, and I really liked it a lot. And I jumped straight into Illusion of Gaia.
How did that make you feel?
Okay, so Illusion of Gaia is, like, a lot more ambitious, and it's going for, like, big dramatic beats.
Yeah.
I think. And they're not good at it.
No.
But the pig and the raft.
They really over-fucking play it.
Yeah, it's... Everything about it is just, like, whenever they go for those beats, it's pretty clumsy.
It's contrived as shit.
Yeah, I think. Like, there are moments like that in, like, Final Fantasy. Like, a lot of early RPGs do that, where they are trying to make something land and they don't really have the chops to quite pull it off. Mm-hmm. And this is just... Soul Blazer doesn't really go for that. Like, the only kind of similar moments are, like... the girl's dad dying near the end, the scientist guy. Like, they kind of play into that similarly, and it's fine. Like, it's not like why you're there.
Yeah. And
this is just full of that. It's all those kind of moments, and the dungeons don't have that interplay. It just feels like there's less writing. Like, I almost never wanted to share screenshots of dialogue from this one.
And it's weird because it's the game that wants to be, like, more ambitious. It wants to be more dramatic, but the writing isn't there to support it.
Yeah, I think the ending's pretty strong. Like, it's still got that humanism to it. It still feels... There's still, like, a kindness to it that feels really nice. Like, if you just compare it with, like, Secret of Mana, which was similar in a lot of ways, like...
Oh, boy.
Like, the story landed a lot better for me. But it's also just, in Soul Blazer, you're an angel. You exist outside of all these people.
Yeah.
That you're saving. Illusion of Gaia, like, the core story is you and these, like, 5 or so friends that have been friends forever, and all of the resonance is about the relationship between these kids, and all the dungeons, you're alone, and they have nothing to do with it. So you're either playing the dungeon, you're doing either dungeoning, or you're having the little cutscenes outside of in the towns. Mm-hmm. And the dungeons don't really play into the story that they want to land, I think.
No, they're just they're dungeons because you're making a RPG kind of game, you gotta have dungeons in those.
Yeah, and the structure is nowhere near as strong. They literally just kind of feel like they're putting dungeon after level up video game levels in a row.
Yeah.
I really think it's just kind of a failure of the writing. I think it feels like a first draft where if they'd been able to put more time into the scenario and making all these characters more, not necessarily even fleshed out, but just like thoughtful and consistent in earning the big beats that they go for.
Yeah.
Because it just moves too fast. The intro is the roughest. Like, once it kind of settles into the go around the world collecting magic statues groove, like, it's pretty okay. But the whole first 2 hours is just kind of a mess, I think.
Yeah, it doesn't really... Like, I replayed this game, I want to say 2 or 3 years ago, and it didn't really hold up for me at all. Yeah. I think it's all right.
Which is a shame, because I loved Soul Blazer.
Yeah, like, I still love the shit out of Soul Blazer. But...
And Illusion of Gaia was always, like, the major one. Like, as far as the popular discourse was, like, 10 years ago, that was the standout.
Yeah, like, that game was being sold on fucking QVC when I was growing up. Like, I was like, when do they have video games on? And they're talking about this video game called Illusion of Gaia and making a big deal out of it. And, like, I never saw video games on fucking QVC. What the hell?
It's QVC.
I vaguely remember reading about Illusion of Gaia in Nintendo Power, but, like, I'd never heard of Soul Blazer until, like, a couple years ago.
You probably never heard of the Grand Stream Saga, have you?
No.
I watched the video.
It's the PS1 quintet game that nobody knows about except me.
Is it? Do you like it? Because I watched some footage of it and I was like, oh, this is pretty.
It's all right.
Yeah.
I mean, I would have to replay it. Like, I haven't replayed it since, like, somebody got it for me for my birthday in, like, 1998 or so. And I have not replayed it since. So it's been 20 years since I've played that game.
Oh, don't say 20 years like that.
Okay.
It's been 10 years, Paulie. 98 was 10 years ago.
Okay, yes. 98 was 10 years ago. I've only known you 7 years.
Yep.
So the next, if I played more quintet games, the next ones would be Robotrek and Terranigma. Like, do y'all have any relationships with those?
Robotrek is really, 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 really rough around the edges in terms of mechanics. Okay. It's kind of, like, I think it's just kind of not super fun to play. And I don't really remember the story sticking out much. Terranigma, I think I think that, like, Illusion of Gaia, it's good, but I think people are just really hype on that game because we never got an official release, so it's kind of that cool thing that looks cool from the distance, but when you play it, it's kind of like, yeah, I mean, it's alright. It's one of these. It's okay.
That's so, especially since if you go on How Long to Beat, like, Soul Blazer is like 8 hours, and Illusion of Gaia is like 13, and then Terranigma is like 17. It's like, oh, okay. I kind of see this progression, huh?
Yeah.
So those are that's the trilogy, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you guys are saying that Soul Blazer is probably still the best one.
I think, yeah.
When it's not, when that absolutely was not like the discourse as I remember it 10 years ago when I started reading. Games.
I always thought, Terranigma, the sequel to Illusion of Gaia, we never got, and Soul Blazer, what's that?
Yeah, exactly. Soul Blazer reminded me a lot of both the Faerun games. Like, it's kind of a similar, just very tight construction and story beats that land and better than you'd expect, I think, which is neat. And just the flow of the dungeons reminded me of Faerun a lot too, like Faerun 2 especially. So I really liked Soul Blazer. I thought Illusion of Gaia was pretty all right. It made me cry at the end, so props there.
Well, you know, like, what game doesn't? Literally. What piece of media has John Thayer interacted with that didn't make him cry at the end?
Well, it was Shovel Knight played.
What about Gone Girl?
Motherfucker! Oh, we'll get to that.
Yeah, I think so. All right, I think that's my quintet journey. Holly, what have you been up to?
What have I been up to? Well,
Oh my god, there's a spider on my desk.
Oh no. John, go eat it!
Don't kill it, it has a soul.
It's on the floor now.
Oh yeah, did you hit it?
He got away, he jumped.
Dude, he's gonna fucking crawl in your mouth tonight.
Oh, Jesus Christ, I'm shooing him away now.
He's gonna get in your ear while you're asleep.
Stop that.
What? I'm just saying, it might crawl up your nose.
You do the podcast. I'm watching this.
He's
Watching
literally
the spider.
having to stare down with a fucking spider right now.
He's trying to crawl under my PC.
Go give it a smack, dude. I gotta hear how this goes down.
I didn't used to kill spiders, but they freaked out Anna, so I killed them for her.
This is way more interesting than anything any of us are gonna talk about.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I got him.
Okay.
He's like under the desk next to the computer, and I kind of smashed him, and he's not moving, and he's all curled up, so he probably got him.
Oh man, that was a grisly one.
The circle of life.
I slammed my microphone down on him, and he like skid out of the way and onto like the floor.
Damn. He was going for it. He was going for it.
Sorry about that.
Spider.
Tinker Gemini, thank you for the sub. Appreciate it. So I played a game that John Thayer probably played.
Oh,
It's a game that It's a game that I initially had no interest in, and then I watched some people stream it that I'm familiar with, like our friend LRock617, and I was like, oh wait a minute, no, this actually looks real fucking good. Because I've had no interest in Bloodstained at all, because it just kind of looks like one of those.
yeah.
Those.
You know, like, it's going to be that kind of game. Like, as much as I don't want it to be, as much as the game that I'm going to talk about gave me hope. Having seen someone stream the demo of the main game, I was like, oh.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I saw someone complaining about the demo just being like a whole bunch of flat, empty rooms.
Yeah!
What?
It's pretty boring.
How could they betray our memories of Symphony of the Night that way and make just a bunch of flat, empty rooms?
That's exactly how I remember Symphony.
Yeah. So I played Bloodstained Curse of the Moon, which is the... Like I guess this was a stretch goal for the Kickstarter.
Some stretch goal.
And it's a hell of a stretch goal because I'm pretty sure it's
gonna make a better game.
Yeah, I know.
If you more, we'll make a better game for you.
It worked for Mighty Number 9.
It kind of did, yeah. Which are kind of the two notable instances. Like we can't really say for sure about Bloodstained yet, but having seen that demo, oh boy, that looked boring as fuck.
I've somehow managed to play every Igavania, so I might play it at this point.
You
kind of have to.
You're kind of like you're locked in.
Yeah, it's like I do like filling in blue squares on a grid. Like, it feels pretty good. It makes my brain go. It puts happy juice in my brain to be like, this was empty before, but now it's full of blue squares. And look, the number in the corner says that I found almost all of them. Yay! Oh, and I've leveled up too. Oh thank God. I've got so many good chemicals.
You got 3 extra hit points, man.
Bigger. The numbers get bigger, though.
The numbers are so big.
Every hit I did was doing 16 before, and now it does. Now it does 18.
Holy shit! Oh, this is the best game of all time. I need to rave about this for 20 fucking years.
Oh.
I keep begging that everyone make games exactly like it.
As a very quick aside, it did feel kind of weird that Zelda doesn't have any leveling and stuff. So it's just like you get in a fight and break all your weapons. And it's like, oh, I got nothing out of that. Like, there's no experience.
Yeah.
Which I kind of loved. Like, it's so against every modern game right now.
Yep.
But yeah, I played Bloodstained Curse of the Moon. This is the 8-bit, 16-bit kind of Bloodstained game that Inti Creates made. You might know them from Mighty Gunvolt, Blaster Master Zero, some of the Mega Man Zero/X, like the ZX Advent.
ZX.
Yeah, they're the ones that have been making good Mega Man games for the last 50 years.
Yeah.
Wait, did they do 9? I can't remember.
I think they did.
I think they did 9, yeah.
Yeah, I think they did, but with what's his name supervision, Inafune's supervision. Yeah.
Well, where would they be without that?
Yeah, exactly. This game's incredible. I would say that this game is as good and smart as Shovel Knight.
Wow.
And for what you pay for it, you get a lot of value out of it because there are Okay. So let's kind of break it down a little bit. This is kind of like obviously a 2D side-scrolling Castlevania game, set in a kind of like
specifically like Castlevania 3.
Yeah, it's very like it takes a lot of inspiration from Castlevania 3. The levels are huge. There are multiple ways to go through them. There are hidden power-ups that you can get for your playthrough. Like you can find like an item that'll let every character do extra damage or give every character extra health.
I don't think I found. Oh yeah, I did find this. Okay, continue.
There are multiple characters that you get over the course of a playthrough, and unlike Castlevania 3, you get to keep them all. And they all have their own pool of health, and they all have their own very unique ways of approaching combat, of traversing each stage. Like, you can definitely change the way you go through any given stage depending on, like, who is in your party. And there are very... And the best part is...
you can switch between them instantly.
Yeah, it's like there is no like Castlevania 3 has this slow ass wait, dissolve.
Like at least 3 seconds.
Yeah, it's at least 3 seconds. This is just quite literally click, you're there. Like you can just do it mid jump. Like don't give a fuck. Attack, switch, attack again. Like
what?
Yeah, it's real. It is so smooth.
It's so snappy.
It is so smooth and so snappy, but it still maintains things like those committed jumps from Castlevania games, but for some reason it still feels better. Like the game's the game's got a bit more speed behind it. I would say this is probably 10-15% faster than your typical Castlevania game from like those olden days. Mm-hmm. And just like top to bottom, it's just like you look at everything that they've done, and all you can say after each thing is listed is like smart design decision, smart design decision, smart design decision, smart design decision, and like it's hard to find anything to actually bitch about with this game. It's got a pretty good story, which I wasn't expecting either. Like I was actually surprised that the story is pretty decent. And there are many ways to approach that story due to a sort of framing device / conceit that kind of opens up when you finish the game for the first time and you unlock a new mode and then you finish the game on that mode and then unlock a new mode. And there's like 4 fucking ways to play this game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think the first 2 represent like the main journey that like if you just play the first one, I don't think the story leaves much of an impact, but if you play the first 2, then it's like, oh, okay, that's what you're going for. This is awesome. I feel really good. That's what I've played so far.
Yeah, and it's just the level designs are really, really good. Just smart, fun enemy placement to contend with. Like you're gonna get dicked over a lot, but you're just like, I know I should have saw that coming, or you overcommit to something and throw yourself down a pit. And you can't talk about this game if you're not talking about the boss design, which is incredible. They're very simple bosses that operate on very simple patterns that repeat themselves with very little RNG, but they're so fucking smart. It's just... I don't know how to really explain that part, because, like, the bosses are big, they're huge, they're menacing, they're great, they've got these incredible attack patterns that are fun to kind of work around, depending on your characters, depending on what you've got, depending on what sub-weapon you've got, like, oh shit, do you have enough special energy to use your special weapon to help make this fight easier, or are you gonna have to, like, chuck it and do it the hard way, and, like... If you die, you lose that character. So then you have to start over at the checkpoint without the character that died and get back there again. And it's real interesting, you know. And you've got limited lives in that respect, but you only lose a life when all of the characters are dead. So,
so you can like kind of try to scrape by with like just the old man magic user.
I did that a few times,
and it feels real good if you manage it.
Mm-hmm. The old man magic user, kinda the only character in the game I feel that doesn't definitely could use a little love in terms of maybe being a little better.
I think the thing that they do for him is just make all of his magic like ridiculously overpowered.
Oh yeah, like literally, you can just throw up. You're like,
which is great.
You can just pull up a Ninja Gaiden fire wheel and run through fucking everything. Just whatever.
Yeah.
Or pull out a big
freeze all enemies. Then he gets the super lightning attack later at some points.
That's real. Like the only one of his that sucks is that like doppelganger / mirror image thing. Because there's no way to really use it in any like decent way. But
you can't synergize with it like you can with the other ones.
Yeah, like all of the characters kind of play into one another if you're playing the game and like paying attention to your abilities and like what they can do and how to best utilize them. And it's just like, and I played through basically all of the content in the game over the course of maybe a day and a half. And
yeah, I beat both modes in 3 settings, I think.
Yeah, I did the first 2 modes. I did there's kind of like a harder mode where you only get Zangetsu, which was really fun.
Yeah, I want to do that so I can just kind of, because that'll be hard, and I'm ready to dig into the patterns more.
Oh, it's real good. It's real good because you get so many cool different abilities because of the way you have to approach getting into that mode, which is killing all of the allies that you see along the way. You kill them, and then you take their like you get an ability from them that adds to his repertoire that makes him even cooler. Because by the end of the game, he's just like, you've got so many cool abilities that they're not like directly analogous to the abilities that the characters had that you defeated. It's just you get cool new abilities that you didn't have before, like a double jump or some crazy shit like that, like a full-on dash that you can just do all the time, which, like, if you watch a speed run of this game, it's kind of incredible because they usually only play with Zangetsu, and it's pretty crazy. Let's see. What else about this game is incredible, John Thayer?
I think it's funny that I just talked about Illusion of Gaia, like where the whole story is based around like the relationship between these people, but then the play doesn't involve that at all.
Yeah.
And this is just the opposite. Like, it's not overplayed. Like, there's very little writing, but they just completely build the idea that these characters have a relationship through the play, and then which is all it takes to earn the big beats near the end.
Yeah. So you got, like, Zangetsu is a sword user, and that's pretty standard fare, and all of his weapons kind of supplement that in some way. And then you've got, what's her name? I can't remember.
My favorite.
Yeah, she's my favorite. Yeah, Shinoa. She's purple. She's my favorite. She's a whip user. She's got a lot of awesome sub weapons.
She leans forward like Simon when she walks.
Yeah, she does. Very purposeful. It's just like, if you're gonna throw back to it, like, okay, that's cool, because you're like, this game is anything but a shameless throwback. Like, so I'll let you have that. Go ahead. Then there's the wizard guy.
She has a higher jump than the others too.
Yes, and she's generally faster. And then there's the wizard guy, which we talked about, which he wrecks shop when he's casting magic, but if you don't have the points for it, he kind of sucks because all he's got is this very slow stave animation, and it's got a hell of a fucking, it's got a hell of a cooldown on it. You swing that fucking thing, you are not swinging for like a second. And then you get like an Alucard-like who kind of like throws bats around, and he can fly.
He's great.
He's real good.
The way that not Simon leans forward when she walks, not Alucard, like, is leaned back with his arms crossed, just like suavely strutting through the castle. It's great.
Yeah, it's like, this game, it's top-notch, top-shelf shit, and I was honestly kind of surprised because I was so
ready to not like this game.
Yeah,
I was so ready to be like,
I was ready to fucking roll my eyes out of my fucking head when I saw people I knew streaming it, and then the more I watched the stream, I was like, holy shit, this is fucking legit.
Yeah, the way it came out of nowhere, like, literally, if you weren't paying attention to the Kickstarter, it's just like, oh, this looks like a super cheap cash-in thing.
Yeah.
Like, it's only $10. What could it be?
And you get, I think you get way more than $10 value out of this game. It's just kind of like, it definitely overperforms for what you're going to pay for it.
Because I'm seeing people saying, like, oh, I like this way more than Castlevania 3 and stuff.
Yeah, like, and I think that's totally fair, because I think that a lot of things about games like Castlevania 3 aren't very well designed.
Yeah.
So
Like,
the fact
I
that-
revisited that game, and it gets pretty rough at the end.
Holy shit, does it ever?
Yeah, and this just doesn't. It's just completely smooth while still
Yeah.
being short, fairly punchy. Like, I had a real. Also, it has probably my favorite Michiru Yamane score.
Holy shit,
Like, she
is
did
it
the music?
so good. The music in
Yeah.
this game is so good. There is not a bad track on this soundtrack.
Yeah, this is the same composer as Symphony of the Night,
Mhm.
at all, but she just, I guess, maybe just doing it all with the 8-bit score, like.
Yeah,
Kinda forces melody to the front for it.
it sounds like Family Tracker, but like it had some
Yeah.
post production.
Yeah, exactly. Whatever it is, it like really brings out just the good in her skill set, I think.
Yeah, it's
So,
like it's got
I
nice.
really-
It's got nice punchy drums, really stabby synth sounds. Like it's just like it's got those gorgeous square waves that we all come to know and love. Like it's just
and just really strong melodies.
oh
just
god,
throughout.
yeah. Like it is melody central. Like there's so many good tunes on this. Like I said, not a bad track on it at all.
God, the nightmare mode final boss, huh?
Holy shit!
Woo! Woo!
Game bugged out for me when I got to that
Yeah,
boss
that's-
the
oh,
first
yeah.
time.
I said that and then immediately remembered that.
That was a real bummer.
Yeah.
Because it's such a cool moment. It's fantastic. I love it. Like, I still conceptually love it. Like, it's not at all. But, like, my first time there, I was like, game, I know you're not doing something right here. I know you are not performing correctly. So I had to reset and play the final stage again, which is a fucking nightmare. Holy shit. Like, this game starts out, like, about Castlevania 3, and then ramps up to just under where Castlevania 3 ends, and it's just got a nice, smooth curve all the way. Much
Without
like
the bullshit.
like Rhett's
basically.
penis, a nice, smooth curve to it.
Yeah. I
As
wound
some-
up playing. Go ahead, Rhett.
As someone who hasn't played like any of the Castlevania games, like the old ones, am I gonna have a real hard time with this?
I think that
Huh.
maybe, like, if you can play a 2D platformer, you can play this
Yeah.
game. All that you've really got to get used to is the really super committed jumps.
That's exactly what I was gonna say. I've never been great with those jumps.
But you will be totally, like, I think that it's definitely worth, getting used to, because it's, like, that game's so fucking good.
Yeah. And then you can go back to the old Castlevanias if you want. Maybe you'll be better prepared for them.
There you go.
I went and played Chronicles the other day. Just so I was like, oh, Bloodstained was really good. I want more of that.
Castlevania
more
Chronicles
play.
is good, but my god, that game's fucking hard.
Yeah, it is. I still managed to get through okay though.
Stage 2 is the worst for me. That fucking rising water area. Fuck that in its ear 13 times. Because goddamn, like, if I'm going to sit down and play that game, I know that that's where I'm going to be stuck for the first hour.
Aww.
I am so bad at it for some reason.
Sorry, I'm laughing.
Oh, it's totally fine. I'm laughing with you.
Yeah.
I'm laughing on the outside, crying on the inside.
Yeah. It also prompted me to go back and play more Shovel Knight after since I hadn't touched it in 4 years.
Oh, yeah?
Should we just swing into that?
Let's go ahead and swing in. That's a good Segui. You played more Shovel Knight, did you?
Okay. I didn't really mean this as a main topic.
Oh, no,
but
it's
yeah, I
fine.
played
Oh no, we have to talk about this.
We have to talk about
because
this.
we've been asking you to play Plague of Shadows since it came out in 2015, I think. So
Yeah.
3 years.
God.
Like, literally, we kept telling John, it's a love story. You're going to love it.
No. See, we never said it was a love story. We said, John, this is super up your alley. Wink, wink, wink. Please
Yeah,
play.
yeah. It was fine. Right? I had a good time. I mean, I had to put it down for a little bit, and then I got back to it and wrapped it up, and it was nice. I really like the movement. Plague Knight's really fun to play as.
Really,
I like
yeah.
exploding around everywhere.
He's stupid fun to play as.
Yeah.
So incredible.
Doing that opening level and being like, oh my god, this is awkward. And then by the time you beat it, going back and starting a new file and just basically playing through the first stage without touching the ground.
Yeah.
I don't know about that, but I didn't have that experience where I restarted it immediately.
But this is my experience, is like, he has a real fun skill ceiling, like, with his movements and stuff, like, because, like, that game supplements you with a lot of abilities that you don't really need. So, like, when you go back and you're like, oh, I could just get through this with all the default gear, and, like, that's probably actually his best overall stuff. Like, I thought it was really cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like that too. I mostly stuck with the default stuff and the save your butt purple vial that you can spawn underneath you.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are very handy. Like, you've got a lot of tools that you don't need, but the tools that can save your ass are still just really fun to use.
Mm-hmm.
And just like the way you mix and match bomb casings, fuses, and explosive types, it's just, there's a lot of fun little minutia to enjoy there.
Yeah, you can make some potions that'll just completely wreck certain bosses.
Oh god, yeah. It's ridiculous.
Except for Propeller Knight is a motherfucker.
God, yeah. Because most of your shit aims downward, and he is above you most of the time.
How does it how much do they change the level layouts from the first game?
A lot.
Okay, because I couldn't remember at all.
Yeah, a lot of the level design, like if that's something they've done for all of them, is that like all of the level designs typically are massively reworked, though they maintain a lot of the core ideas that the original level had. But like the two expansions they've released so far, like, but just been really smart about how they rework the levels so that like it's either not too easy or impossible or something like that. It's just like I've always found the difficulty in that game to be absolutely perfect.
I found with Plague Knight, like, they would remove things that Shovel Knight had access to and just be like, oh, you don't need a platform here, just bounce over it.
Yeah.
But then with Spectre Knight, like, I think those stages are just 100% different at that point.
Yeah, because of like the hook mechanic that he has.
Yeah, his mechanics are just so different. Like, that's something I liked about Plague Knight, though, is where it always kind of felt a little bit like he's a square peg in the levels a round hole, where it's like he's not built for some of these parts, so it's a little awkward, but that kind of fits his character.
Yeah, it's very much his character, which is, he's goddamn adorable.
So adorable.
I love him to bits.
I can't believe they made him such a compelling character after the original game, where he's just kind of a boss.
Just a boss.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
And then you've got that awesome little plot with Mona that is, man,
super sweet and touching.
Like just the whole reason he's doing what he's doing is for her, and it's so goddamn gorgeous. And the way they resolve that at the end is incredible.
Mm-hmm. And the magicist off to the side, like, oh yeah, I like you, and like kind of feeling awkward because she thinks he has a crush on her.
Yeah. The magicist is this low key best character.
Yeah. Oh my god, that was fun. And yeah, Mona's super sweet.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's nice.
Did you ever like watch her dance for a long time? There's like a weird achievement for that if you watch for like 2 or 3 minutes or something. There's an achievement about being a pervert or something.
I probably came close. I didn't realize what I had to do, so I just unwittingly made it so that I just unwittingly roleplayed as Plague Knight watching Mona dance for like a minute and a half.
Oh, so the very first time, right? Not during the end credits.
The very first time.
I'm just like waiting for something to happen because you watch the Triple King dance.
Yeah.
So I'm just watching Mona dance, and then the achievement pops up. I'm like, oh, am I supposed to do something here?
And the dance at the end is you can't like this. There's so much really awesome custom sprite work going on there that they really fucking put a lot into that sequence, and it looks incredible.
I want to pull up some John tweets about this game, but I won't.
Yeah, please don't.
No, I had a nice time with it. I think I was just in a weird mood, so it didn't click with me.
That's a shame.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure that. Yeah. And also, it's so much longer than Bloodstained, and it didn't land. And I think Bloodstained's story just landed a lot stronger for me.
Wait, is Bloodstained that short?
Bloodstained is 8 stages. It's like fucking.
Oh.
Bloodstained is easily like 50 minutes to an hour.
It's like an hour and a half long, yeah.
Oh, okay.
But Shovel Knight was like 5, so.
But I'm like, Shovel Knight's 8 stages, and then the Wily Castle.
Shovel Knight stages are like Mario 3 worlds, where every level is just taped together. They're massive.
Yeah.
They're just super. It's a long ass game, I think. Like I had like 5 hours for the first game, and then I ended it with like 9 hours on Steam. So I played through it twice. So Bloodstained was like, oh, I beat this in 1 sitting, and then played it again in 2 sittings, and then Plague Knight I had to like keep coming back to it like 4 or 5 times before I just beat it in little chunks. So I think that played a lot into it too. Is like I just wanted something a little punchier, I think.
Maybe you didn't play a huge RPG in the middle of it as well.
Yeah, I did. So yeah, that was kind of I think it was a perfectly nice thing, and I really like the movement, especially.
I think that like
a weird place for it.
Should you find yourself in a different mood, I think you should revisit that game at some point.
Yeah, I think so.
I think you might like I think you might like it a little more in a different mindset.
Yeah, I think once I believe in love again.
Yeah. Ouch.
I think Steven Universe helped with that actually.
Or did like
the new one, it's like okay, maybe love is real. Maybe.
There you go.
So where is that show in seasons right now, and how many are they confirmed for?
I don't know, man.
I think
it's near. They're either at the end or almost at the end of season 5. And I think there's a season 6 confirmed.
Okay.
And that's all we know. I thought season 5 was going to be the end of it.
It's like, man, at this point, all I want is the story episodes. I don't want any more side stories. Like, I'm kind of over it.
You were like a year behind where I was. Like, you stopped watching around a Thanksgiving, and I stopped watching, like, this following Christmas. Some shit went down, and I'm sure, and I've heard some shit has gone down since then.
Yeah, but also, like, I don't think you're losing much out by just, like, waiting until it's all out and then blazing through it.
Yeah, that's probably how I'm going to handle that little issue, I think.
I might got caught up. There's one thing I really need to know about, because I said some light spoilers.
I think they've resolved almost every, like, mystery at this point, so, like, I'm excited to see, like, what the next, like, conflict
13 episodes of nothing.
Oh, good.
No, I don't know.
It doesn't seem like they could go back to the towny episodes at that point.
No, I think I'm excited about it. Red.
Oh, right. Speaking of Steven Universe, I watched some anime.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah?
I'll go through these pretty quickly because they're not particularly interesting. I watched Girls...
Good start.
Yeah. I watched Girls Un Panza. This is the anime...
Tank Girls, right?
It's Tank Girl, yeah. I had a huge grudge against this show for like 8 years because Sora no Woto, Sound of the Sky, came out and was about 5 girls and they had a tank.
Yep.
And was incredibly unpopular because it was a good show, and good shows don't sell well. And then Girls in Panzer comes out and is all light and fluffy, and it's a sports anime, there's no drama.
Yeah.
And comes like the fucking biggest series in the world for a few months.
Yeah, that was kind of my grudge against it as well.
Yeah. So I finally happened to see a clip from the movie that was like incredibly dumb, where they're like jumping the tank through the air and like ramming it into the barrel of this other huge tank. And they're like exploding bridges and stuff, and I'm like, okay, this looks like dumb fun that I could go for now.
It's like basically tanks doing professional wrestling.
Yeah, tank wrestling. So yeah, that's actually a fairly accurate representation of that show. Is that it's called Girls in Panzer, and like it's actually pretty much a 50-50 split, content-wise.
You got girls, and then you've got the tank.
Yeah, and like there's a lot of tank action in this show, which I just wasn't expecting. Like, you expect, like, they're going to drag it out for, like, 3 episodes, and then, oh, fine, we'll throw them a bone, like K-On! Basically did. And then at some point, that just dropped the music aspect entirely.
It dropped the music aspect by episode 5.
Yeah. This, on the other hand, like, takes a couple episodes to start getting going, and then they go into the big tournament, and that's, like, over half the show is just almost nonstop tank battles.
Oh, my God.
It's kind of crazy, and like they mix the sound so that the tanks are just way louder than the dialogue. So every time they fire, like my desk would shake. Like it's fucking loud.
It kind of like I think that's a cool audio decision.
Yeah.
Because it actually, you know, like it's not fucking quiet inside a tank.
Yeah, it makes them feel so strong and imposing, which kind of clashes with the fact that the girls will just watch the battle from outside the tank.
Yeah.
As shit's whizzing by them, and they're like, it's very unlikely we'll get hit. They're not like, oh, these are safety shells. They're like, no, we're probably not going to get hit. So I'm just waiting for on a very special episode, oh god, she's just gone.
Oh god. She actually got turned into paste.
Yeah. But you know that's not actually ever going to happen in the show.
No. This is a show with 0 consequences.
I wouldn't go quite that far, but it's just like, it's basically a tournament sports anime show where it's like, okay, there's 8 teams, who's going to win? Oh, it's the main characters, weird.
Oh,
wow.
Of course! Weird!
And then there's the movie, which is basically the high school teams, which is the main show, versus a college team.
Oh my god.
But then they do the dumbest thing ever, where the leader of the college team is like this super advanced prodigy, so she's like 10. So she's actually way younger. Because
anime. Yeah.
Basically. But the movie's crazy because it's like one fight at the start that's like a half an hour long, then character stuff for a half an hour, and then the main battle is like a solid hour, and that's the rest of the entire movie. It's just like, hey, like that's what you're really kind of here for, is girls in tanks blowing shit up. And like it delivers on that premise in a way I just kind of never saw coming.
Right.
Better
and then
worse than Sora no Woto.
I didn't catch. What did you say?
I said better or worse than Sora no Woto.
Worse for sure. Like that's favorites ever.
I didn't mean to watch that for years.
Like that show's weird because it is super slice of lifey, kind of light and fluffy towards the start, and then it gets weirdly dark.
It's got a mood that it's setting.
Yeah. It kind of blindsides you though at a point.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, like,
oh wait, war's fucking really real. Whoops.
Yeah, it's real shitty. It's like, what was that show I watched? Girls Last Tour.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Super light for like 7 episodes, and then it gets super dark. Something like that. That's it. But yeah, Girls in Panzer is like not trying to be anything serious.
No.
It's just dumb tanks doing dumb stuff. Like the final battle is like a one-on-one fight, and that she like does this maneuver to like drift the tank.
I'm pretty sure tanks can't do that.
If you drive them real fast and then fucking pull, like turn as hard as you can.
Oh, is that how it goes? Is that how it goes with a tank?
And flip it onto its side, you'll drift a bit. It's literally a 3-second drift, and then it just fucking can't move anymore.
It's the most sad and pathetic drift ever.
Yeah, but all you need is one shot at that range when you're like putting your barrel fucking point blank on them. And then I watched another show that does not really live up to its potential, which is New Game. This is a show about a girl who, oh my god, like, so anime does this thing where they just draw middle schoolers now.
Yeah.
And go, she's
18. Yeah.
Yeah. So this show is incredibly guilty of that, but that's kind of irrelevant to the plot. A girl fresh out of high school joins a game developer company as a character artist. So it's like, oh, it's an anime about making video games, and then it just kind of never delivers on that premise like whatsoever.
Yeah.
It's very much cute girls doing cute things. And what frustrates me about this show is at times there are sparks of inspiration of a greater plot that it just kind of never delivers on. Because season 1 they make a game, which is basically main character makes like 3 character models, couple episodes pass, and then like the game's done, and I'm like, okay, whatever. Season 2 starts, they're brainstorming for the second game. So everyone in the company submits character designs, and everyone's like, oh well, obviously this person who always does our character designs is going to get the job. And the executives look at her designs and they just throw them in the trash. They're like, nah, not this time. And they end up picking somebody else. And that character's like, has this moral crisis of, I joined this company because I was so inspired by her artwork, and now I'm pushing her out of a job. Like, is that really what I wanted to do? So it sets up this real kind of moral crisis and then backs away from it in a kind of cowardly way.
It's kind of like, unlike, there's a show I've got on my Crunchyroll to watch list called Girlish Number, which is about them working on an adaptation of a shitty light novel, and like having to try and take pride in being the studio that's doing that. And like you have this main character that's very spoiled and bratty, and just like she wants success just because, you know, she's wants to be successful, but doesn't want to work for it. She's a voice actress for one of the main characters in the show that they're doing, and it sounds like this is way more biting than what New Game is going for.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like, New Game just kind of presents this idea and then resolves it in kind of a weak way, and then basically moves away from those characters for like the entire rest of the season.
Ugh.
And then it's just like, oh, like, season 2 introduces way too many new characters, and then it's like, oh,
does that so much.
Yeah, it's like
lately.
Oh,
they told me about Citrus, where they just kept introducing new characters to the back half instead of like having a story.
Citrus is just resolve conflict, introduce new character who brings new conflict, resolve that, introduce new character who brings new conflict, resolve that. Oh, the show's over.
Yeah.
Like, it just goes through the same plot like 3 times in a row. Very frustrating. Like, another thing New Game does that you see where they could go with it in an interesting way is have the game story like parallel what's happening in the real world. Because there's a whole episode about them designing the final boss character and her going through like, well, what should this character be? And they eventually decide on like a little girl.
Of course they do.
Yeah. But, like, they never follow up on it, really, even when, like, the game is done and, the story's done, and they never, like, talk about the final boss character again.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you could see how somehow, like, the arc the character goes through in the game could mirror the arc the character in the real world goes through.
Yeah.
There's none of that. There's so little game stuff in there. It's just...
It sounds like there's so little writing.
It's a lot of girls just hanging out and doing stuff, and way too many characters. And one of the characters is super annoying in season 2 and kind of made me hate it. Because she's kind of like that character, and she's the show Polly just mentioned, where she wants to become successful at any cost, basically. So she's just kind of a rude bitch to everybody else.
Yeah.
It's just like, this is fake drama. This is not entertaining. This character is just insufferably annoying.
Oh my god.
So it's a fine show.
It's not going to follow through with it in the real way. Like,
yeah. I don't know. Girls in Pants is better. Because you get tanks.
Every time you say the name of that show, I keep hearing you say Girls in Pantsu.
I bet if you look, that's a doujin.
Probably.
Oh man, can I just tell this dumb story? So I do after liking a show, I look for merchandise. So I type girls und into Amazon, and it autofills with girls underwear. And I'm just like, nice try, Amazon, but that's not what I'm here for.
Nice try, Satan.
And then your mom sees that search history and is like, oh my. My Little Red has got some explaining to do. That's an anime next season.
It's called Mom, I'm 36. Stop looking at my search history.
Oh.
What?
Nothing at all.
Yeah.
Life is good.
Watch any other animes?
Yeah.
I started the one people hate, Darling in the Franxx, but I'm only like an episode and a half in. So
keep me updated.
I hear like Trigger kind of just dropped off halfway through that show, and now it's just A1 making it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that. I've heard that show goes places in the last few episodes. Like, I'm not watching this because I expect it to be good, which is not the mindset to watch something in.
No.
Like, I'm watching it because I expect it to be bad and, like, Code Geass levels of stupid.
Geass.
Code Geass.
Oh my God. That's like a first-year throwback right there.
Yep.
That's a first-year Sockscast throwback for all you listeners out there. All one of you.
Oh, that's fun. All right. So that's the end. Well,
is that our anime corner then?
Are you guys expecting me to say some other anime? Because I can't remember what else.
No,
I
was just genuinely curious if there was more. Because
I watched 2 episodes of Arya, the show it's taking me like a decade to get through.
Arya's good.
Arya's good. One of the episodes made me like fall asleep.
Yeah, it'll do that.
And then the next episode made me cry. But I'm like, okay, neither of these are good shows to watch at work.
When are we gonna watch Fate Zero, Rhett?
When are we?
You've been wanting to do this. You've been wanting to do this for 8 million years, and it's just like, oh, I've got Crunchyroll.
Oh, is it on Crunchyroll?
I'm pretty sure it is.
It was on Netflix for ages.
Yeah.
Oh my God, there's some new Fate series on Netflix that has like a Kingdom Hearts name to it.
Fate Apocrypha.
Fate Apocrypha.
Oh, there's like an even newer one now where it has
shit.
like
Fate
it's
Extra
like
bullshit.
Fate Extra Final Prologue or something. It's like a Kingdom Hearts name for real. I'm like, are you serious?
What's Kingdom Hearts?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Maybe we'll find out after we take a 5-minute break.
5-minute break.
I was gonna say after this commercial break.
We'll catch y'all in like 5-10 minutes. Get up, stretch your balls out, do all that fun stuff. We will be right back.
It's Fate Extra Last Encore. I'm back.
I have returned as well.
Okay, we're waiting on Polly, I guess.
That's allowed.
Oh, it's called Fate Extra Last Encore.
Excellent.
So, like, that's a Kingdom Hearts name.
Yeah, it is. I think it's Kingdom Hearts 2.8 Final Prologue.
Yeah.
I'm sitting in the chair and I'm like, this is okay. I could be laying in bed though. Ugh. I don't know. I don't know what I want. Ugh, I want to lay in bed more. This is great.
Blah, blah, blah. Are we all back?
Yeah, did I just hear Polly?
Hello.
We are back.
I was like, why do I hear 2 air conditioners now?
Forgot to mute my mic. That was on me. That was on me.
I'm like, I hear Polly's, and then when John talks, his kicks in.
Yeah.
There we go.
So, Rhett, you've got one other thing to talk about?
Yeah, Mario.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
So what are we going to throw to?
Ginger ale.
All right. Podcast is sponsored by Ginger Ale. Still.
Canada Dry.
So, y'all got your big ones now, huh?
Yeah, I got a big one. I got a small one I can sneak in there and talk about real quick.
But you just finished something like an hour ago.
Yeah.
Polly, I think it is Polly's turn.
Oh, is it my turn? Are we jumping to me?
We skipped over. We kind of did a weird thing where we went back to John for Plague Night.
We haven't done one of these in like 8 years, so I don't remember. Take the BRB off. I keep forgetting to do that whenever we go on break. But now we're officially back. There we go. That's how you run a podcast in this goddamn country. So, first, a small thing that I played. I won't spend a lot of time. Game kind of caught me by surprise. I played it the same weekend that I played through Bloodstained. It's a little game called Monolith. It's a top-down roguelike bullet hell shooter that's basically Enter the Gungeon but done right. Mm-hmm. But I think Enter the Gungeon's kind of slow and boring, whereas this game is fast, frantic, and actually fun. It's got a lot of the same things that Enter the Gungeon has. There's like a number of different type of weapons you can use, and they all have different they come with randomized ammunition, certain little quirks like how much ammo is in your clip, things like that. It's got a lot of fun little balances like that kind of keeps every playthrough interesting. It's obviously kind of it's got that warp mechanic where you can warp to any room that you've completed, which makes each playthrough just like a breeze. I
really like how the weapons come with like little random modifiers. Like one problem I had with them.
One of the things you unlock are keywords, and like those are things that will appear later as modifiers to any weapon you find. So cool. That's really cool. And it's got like
one of the things in Enter the Gungeon is that the guns were just kind of the guns, like they didn't ever change,
and they're not very good. I don't find many of the guns in Enter the Gungeon that fun at all.
Yeah, so the fact that the guns
seems like kind of a problem for that game, considering the title.
I mean, there's a lot of guns, and everything in the game is a gun or a bullet.
Yeah.
But the guns themselves aren't very fun to use. But, like, because Binding of Isaac is just, you have basically one weapon and everything modifies it. Mm-hmm. And then Enter the Gungeon's the other polar extreme where the guns are just never changing. So this kind of is in the middle a bit.
Yeah. But yeah, like I just really like this game. Like if you've played a bullet hell shooter or you are in any way good at them, you'll probably breeze through most of this game's content in like a day if you just sit down and commit yourself to playing more than one run. Like I finished the game on like my second run. And it's got like cumulative upgrades that you get and things that persist between runs and things like a certain currency that you accumulate during each run that you can use to buy new things that'll pop up during each run.
It's sort of pseudo roguelike, like where you're got a progression over the multiple runs.
Yeah, and it keeps you playing. Cool. It's got super fucking solid control. The hitboxes are amazingly accurate. Which
it feels really good.
Yeah, it is one of those game feel games for me where it's just like it just feels real good to play, especially when you start working in the dash and how to use it and things like that. I never felt that the dash was 100% necessary, but it's real fun to use. And yeah, like I said, the hitboxes are super fucking just on point. Like you can weasel your way through some real tiny cracks in between bullet patterns, and it just feels real good to do. And things blow up real good, and The weapons are fun to use, and just because there's such a smaller set of them and they're all focused, and the modifiers, of course, that makes everything fun. So yeah, like Monolith, it kind of like was a surprise. I was not expecting it to be a game that I would pick up and spend an entire day addicted to, but I had a good time with it. You played it too, didn't you, Rhett?
Yeah, I played a couple of playthroughs. I beat the game, but I haven't done the whole unlock the 4 keys things to get the true ending or whatever is down there. I like this game because it's got that NES feel, but it almost feels like a dark NES game.
Yeah.
Where it's like an evil version of Guardian Legend or something. Like, it kind of has that Irem feel, I think.
Yeah, I think that's definitely a fair comparison. Good game, Monolith. You should check it out.
Yeah. So you played 2 action games that both kind of surprised you with their goodness.
Yeah,
That's really cool.
I was pleasantly surprised with both. I was very happy with that. But then, earlier today, I put the finishing touches on a game I've been working on for, turns out, not that long at all.
Not that long, but also very long.
Yeah, it's a pretty long game. But I started playing it June 27th, and I finished it today. So, I don't know. Yeah, I was honestly surprised, when I saw my first screenshot of that game was June 27th. I was like, whoa!
It's like me blazing through Persona 4 on a summer break.
Yeah.
God.
So, back in January, I put the finishing touches on the Legend of Heroes Trails in the Sky series, which, love it. It's just a brilliant fucking series. Top echelon of RPGs ever. I will hear no arguments. So I started playing The Legend of Heroes Trails of Cold Steel, which is a direct follow-up to that series, but it's not a direct follow-up because there are 2 games in between.
Zero no Kiseki.
Yeah, there's Zero no Kiseki and Ao no Kiseki, both of which they take place in Crossbell, which is kind of like a country that is kind of caught in the middle of 2 other countries that don't like each other, but both countries kind of claim ownership of this country. So, Trails of Cold Steel dives a lot into that conflict because it takes place during Ao and Zero, and while also taking place 2 or 3 years after Trails in the Sky. So it's this takes place in the Erebonian Empire, which is mentioned a lot throughout the Sky series.
Yeah, I was about to say, so this is the Empire. That is the... I think that's really cool.
Yeah, and throughout the Sky series, you're kind of given some insight into Erebonia and it how it's set up. It's a very kind of rigid nation that kind of values nobility and royalty and it's just kind of, it's got this class system that would just make you real angry, and it does. It's real good at doing that, whereas Liberl is very not like that.
Yeah.
It's Liberl is very much more of a modern society, even though the Erebonian Empire resembles a modern society more with, where it's placed because it's much more higher tech. It's very sleek, very clean. There's very little in the way of some place that you would call the boonies or something, because everything's just so very city-like. And Trails of Cold Steel takes place at a military academy, and the main character is Reen Schwarzer. He's kind of caught in the middle of being a noble and not a noble. And he is a member of Class 7, which is a new class that has been put together. There's classes 1 through 6, which have kind of been separated by, here's the group of nobles and here's a class of commoners. And Class 7 is this small kind of experimentation that somebody behind the scenes has put together that is kind of intermixing nobles with commoners of various backgrounds to kind of propel that story forward. And this game values its kind of political back and forthing a lot, which is kind of what I wanted, because you learn a lot about Erebonia in Trails in the Sky, but you kind of don't get much of the political wrangling, at least not as much as you do in just even in the first installment of Trails of Cold Steel. the political climate is like very dire, but it's kind of got this front facing, like, no, we have to make it look like it's not fucking dire here, and that everybody's a fucking scumbag. And you kind of like just, you are this class that are sent on various field studies around Erebonia to kind of like, to kind of get the lay of the land. Like, it functions very similarly to how Trails in the Sky 1 does, in that you're kind of sent on these field studies around all of Erebonia to kind of get, like, what are the different, like, places around Erebonia, like, and everybody, and like nearly everyone that you're in a class with, you end up going in a field study to where they are from to kind of learn more about them, their culture, their families, how they're pulled up into this political and industrial machine that's going on. And compared to Sky, like, it's got more of a rigid feel to it. Like, this has, like, you know, like, you're going to class. Like, it's got a very strict schedule about things. Like, your day is always set up like a school day, you know, and like, it doesn't have, like, a day-to-day Persona calendar or anything like that. But, you know, things do happen on, you know, like, you know, you will always have your field exam on the, you know, like the 13th of every month or something. And there will always be a practical exam. But it's nothing that's, like, time sensitive. It's still a fairly linear kind of game, much like the Sky games are. It just kind of presents itself as not being that way. And it's kind of just, like, what you want out of these kind of games. Like, if you dig what Trails in the Sky is doing, like, I think that Trails in the Sky is almost integral to this experience, because having played Trails in the Sky before Trails of Cold Steel, and I've been told otherwise. I've been told otherwise, that I'm wrong about this. But I think that you really need that information, and, like, the things that you're going to pick up on in Cold Steel are going to hit so much more when, like, you notice a character or notice something they're talking about. Or characters that may be making a return. It's just like, that stuff's going to hit way more. And I could see how this game would feel real fucking dry without it. At least for me, that's just how it looks on, you know, just from knowing what I know about Sky, and then having played through Cold Steel now, it's just like, I don't know why you would want to skip that experience, or at least skip the knowledge. And the first hour and a half of this game is kind of trash, honestly.
Is it super cliche high school stuff?
It's very cliche. Like, a girl falls onto a guy and her boobs get smushed in his face, and they have a real big tiff about that for like a month. Like, this girl is all up in this dude's shit for like a fucking month about it.
Oh my god. That's kind of funny in the way that they just drag it out forever. And, like, the fact that this game just shows every single day instead of, like, fast forwarding a bit.
This game fast forwards.
Oh, it does.
Yeah, okay. It's not like it's not Persona where you play every single day.
It sounded like that when you were like, oh, and you have the thing on the 13th every month.
Well, there are things that happen on certain days of every month. Like, every few weeks, you will have a practical exam followed by a field study. Like, it's got a very rigid structure in that sense.
But there will be points where it's like 3 days later.
Yeah. Like, it'll just roll the calendar forward 2 weeks. Okay. School was happening. Gotcha. But yeah, she stays pissed at him for a fucking month over this dumb shit. Like, oh my god, are you kidding me? But then, like, the rest of the game is, like, 100% top-notch. Like, really good storytelling. They're really good at pushing it forward. Again, they have to, like, make you care about a new cast of characters while trying to balance out the fact that also this is connected to another series of games. So we've got to be really tasteful with how we drop that stuff in and not be too on the nose, but also you kind of want to push that since this is a very connected series.
Yeah. It's a shame we don't have the Zero and Out games.
Yeah. That's what I'm wondering. Is like, is there stuff in those games that's going completely over your head now?
Yeah, I would definitely say that there is, especially with a couple of the more major moments towards the end of the game that happen. Because, like I said, like this happens at the same time as the Crossbell arc, and Chelsea had told me that a thing that happened in this game, like it's elaborated on a lot in the Crossbell arc, the Crossbell side of things. So I know that there are fan translations and stuff, but
I'm just wondering how good they are, basically.
I know that one of them is being retranslated and re-released because the initial release was bad. So apparently they're working on that, but like I don't think Xseed is going to be getting to, like, they've expressed interest in doing the Crossbell arcs, and people won't get off of their shit about it anytime. Like you gotta feel bad for Xseed because they can't announce anything new without every fucking reply being "Where's Cold Steel 3" and "Where's the Crossbell arcs?" Even though they've
like I understand not asking for the Crossbell arc, but like, where's Cold Steel 3? Please.
I just want them to like say.
No, see, I only want them to announce it because so that Nisa doesn't. That's it.
That's it. I don't need a date. I don't need a date. I don't need anything. Just say it. Just like Falcom, tell them that it's okay to say yes, we have it.
But what if they don't?
Don't even know. I don't even want to think of this series.
Hey, did you know that Ys 8 on Switch is fucked up again?
Oh yeah. Nisa has had
charm.
Nisa had 3 fucking shots at Ys 8, and they botched every single one of them. Except the PS4 version is playable and good now.
After a lot of patches and retranslation and redub.
Yeah, and the Switch version won't be 100% quote-unquote fixed until like the middle or late July. So...
well, that's not true.
Yeah.
Why did it have a different translation?
They didn't have a different translation. It's just that they didn't insert the translation patch properly, so a bunch of dialogue just doesn't show up right.
How the fuck? That might be worse, actually.
It's just incredible. They just kind of like dumped it in there and shipped it out. Fuck it, it's good. Nobody tested this shit.
We're on point.
Can you imagine Cold Steel 3 with them? It'll be like those Final Fantasy games where they completely retranslate the references to older games.
Oh god.
Like how Final Fantasy 9 is a bunch of throwbacks that didn't get translated properly.
Yeah. I would be so mad.
Yeah, that's why I understand people begging XC to announce that one.
Oh, but man. This is so getting back to Cold Steel.
Yeah.
Like the story is great. I just finished it. That game goes full on like 255 mile an hour in the last 2 fucking hours, and it's incredible.
Wow. Does it go anime?
You know what? To agree, I'm gonna say yes.
Okay.
It's not fully anime yet, though. But I have a feeling with something that was introduced during these moments, the next game we're going full fucking anime.
I doubt it was a giant robot.
I'm not saying anything.
We mecha now.
I'll just say that I didn't expect the game to go where it's going, but it also fucking earned it.
Okay.
And it's real fucking good. I was very happy with that. The battle system is it's kind of just like a more 3D-ized version of the battle system that they've been using since Trails in the Sky. It's not exactly the same. It's got its own kind of like it's been streamlined a bit. Like a lot of the stuff like orbments and quartz, they're way simpler now. Like it's not like Trails in the Sky orbments, like I'd have to take like 10 minutes to explain to you the intricacies of why they work the way they do. It's a good system and I like it, but maybe it could have been dialed back a bit. And I feel that maybe Cold Steel maybe dialed it back a little too much. Like I wasn't feeling the orbment system, and I'm still not entirely sure that I'm 100% in love with it. but I know that this is kind of what we're sticking with for the next 3 games, so I'm okay with it.
You don't think they'll kind of add in some complexity in the sequels to this one?
I'm not sure. And I'm staying as far away from reading anything about this series as I can, because I don't want to fucking know anything.
I remember people being annoyed knowing that there's a 4th game, because then it means 3's not the end.
Yeah.
But like some spoilers are just literally impossible to avoid.
Yeah, like I've been watching After 5 play through the Sky trilogy lately, and like people in his chat have been saying that like Trails of Cold Steel 1 and 2 are basically one game. It's kind of Falcom getting too ambitious again. And they ended up having to maybe cut it in half and make another game.
Given your playtime on this one, no, it sounds like it's 2 games. Like, was it 70 hours?
I finished. My in-game file time is like 65 hours.
Yeah, like that's enough for one game.
It's a lot. Yeah, but they've been saying that 1 and 2 kind of function as a good standalone story that leaves hooks for the 3rd and 4th games, but it's not going to be as painful as waiting from first chapter to second chapter. Because that would, oh my god.
That makes me feel a little better.
I would, 5 years having to wait for that. I would have died.
So maybe like the relationship between second chapter and 3rd?
Yeah, I think it's more like that. Like, in that, 3 and 4... 3 is still definitely necessary, but 4... maybe a little more tertiary to the experience. I'm not sure. Like I said, I'm trying not to read too much about it. I don't want to know. I'm just playing these games when they come out and enjoying them that way. I have Cold Steel 2. I'm not going to be diving into that one right away.
What?
I need a couple months away from Falcom. Because I played Tokyo Xanadu X Plus and ended up just not liking it. And then when I played Trails of Cold Steel, it was like, wait a minute, this game's literally got every fucking system that's in Tokyo Xanadu. Like, it's literally the same fucking engine. It's the same character animations.
Oh no!
It's a lot of the same models. I think it uses the same text box, same menus, same mini games. But it came
first, right?
Cold Steel came first, so.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. All right, Tokyo Xanadu.
Yeah, Tokyo Xanadu, though, I also understand was created by a group of younger talent in Falcom, so they probably were given a bunch of assets that they're told, go make a game, get you some experience, and then, we'll move from there. Cool. Yeah, I bounced off that game pretty hard. I gave my copy to After 5. Yeah, but,
kind of like
let's
the
see.
Disney...
any
Disney
questions?
Animators giving the junior animators the DVD sequels to work with.
Yeah. Any questions about Cold Steel before we move on?
I really want to play it. I mean, I just want to. I'm really happy that I got this big old series of RPGs that I can just chew through at my leisure and be pretty confident that they're good.
Oh yeah.
That's really nice.
It's top-notch quality. I will say that I think the only thing that I really don't like about Cold Steel is that with the move to 3D, well, I think, it's I'm not going to do anything bitch about textures or model work or anything. That I don't give a shit. I think they're fine. What I liked, there was a thing that I liked in Trails in the Sky where their sprites are really expressive. They do a lot of expressive things with them, especially as the series goes on for second chapter and the third. Where the characters do a lot more in their poses and stuff, and they've got a lot of detail, and they script out nice little fights with those things, and they kind of they don't really have the budget to do that with the 3D models, so there's not a lot of action that happens in the same way. A lot of the time you'll get an action scene or something needs to happen, it'll fade to black, you'll hear some sound effects, and it'll come back and you'll see the after effects. Which, I mean, it's totally fine, because at the end of the day, they're still just telling a really good story, and I'm totally on board for it. But I kind of miss that little bit of extra charm where you would see, Tita running up to hug Estelle, and you'd get that really cute hug moment, and it's so adorable. Little things like that I miss that aren't quite there in Cold Steel, but
What about when the girl falls down and her boobs go in somebody's face? Do they animate that?
They don't really animate that. They kind of just show the after effects.
What the fuck?
I mean, you get.
I thought
you
for
get there.
sure that was like the one thing they would animate.
They got some real weird looking dance animations. There's some weird stuff going on. Some yeah. There's some jank animation all over the place. But like again, Falcom is a small company. They operate on a budget. They budget sensibly, and they ultimately know that they're there to tell a good story, and that they don't have to have like AAA fucking shit all over the place to have a compelling game, of course. So yeah, that's.
Are there games before Trails in the Sky in the series?
Yes. There's
bunch
of
Trails
them.
in the Sky is Legend of Heroes 6.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez. Do the first 5 have any connections to the current story arc?
No. Like, when they started Sky, they wanted to kind of start anew. They wanted to kind of just wash it all away. Like, yeah.
That's pretty cool.
You should go watch clips of the TurboGrafx CD, Legend of Heroes 1. It's something.
It's something.
It's something.
It's 16-bit, but it has full voice. It has voice acting.
It's real weird.
Jesus.
It's got that weird dichotomy where, like, when I play East Chronicles, I can't play with the modern music because it feels weird to me.
Yeah.
So I have to turn on the old music.
But this is just that is the game. That is what Legend of Heroes is. Yeah. Well, wait, no, maybe it was a PC 98 something or whatever, and then they remade it for TurboGrafx or something.
The TurboGrafx had a CD attachment, so it was probably for that with all the voices.
Yeah.
So, but like the current games, like starting with Trails in the Sky, they're all connected, but the ones before that aren't. That's good. That's good.
Jetstorm says 3, 4, and 5. There's some sort of connectivity there going on.
Oh, jeez.
Like, look, you know, you can't
just start with.
I know. Obviously, I have to. I mean, I don't even know if the other games are in English, so.
Yeah, they are. There are 2 of them that are on PSP. They were remade.
Oh, right. They did the stupid thing where, like, they called the second one
the first one, and they fucked up the naming, or they released them out of order.
Yeah, they went, like, 213 or something, or 231.
It was real dumb. God. Poor Falcom has had a rough go of it in the West.
Seriously.
Yeah.
Oh, also, Trails of Cold Steel has an amazing soundtrack.
Oh, I mean, that's
but we expect nothing less of Falcom.
So, do I need to be familiar with the other Dragon Slayer games to be able to enjoy this one?
No. Like, this is.
Is there anything from Dragon Slayer 1 that carries on into Legend of Cold Steel?
I think I can. I don't know 100% for certain, but I would bet my life that there's nothing you would need to know that carries over.
I feel like I really need to play Legacy of the Wizard before I can appreciate. Trails at Sea.
Yeah, you gotta get the deep lore here.
That game will make you appreciate other games for sure.
Yeah. No goddamn doubt there.
I would laugh if, like, at the end of Cold Steel 4, they, like, throw some huge reference to, like, the original 2 games or something.
Oh my god, that would be incredible.
That would go over.
Well, they're making sequels to Xanadu now, and that's Dragon Slayer 2.
Well, Tokyo Xanadu is not actually a Xanadu sequel.
It's
Xanadu Next. Xanadu Next is a sequel.
That doesn't pass my smell test.
Nah,
it does have Xanadu in the name of the game by the same company.
I will get the interview with the president of Falcom stating very specifically that Tokyo Xanadu has nothing to do with the original Xanadu series.
That's what they want you to think.
All right, so Xanadu Next on the N-Gage is a sequel to Xanadu.
Just get Xanadu Next on Steam. It's the better version, probably.
Yeah, I've seen clips of the N-Gage version and then clips of the PC version. PC version,
little better looking.
Together a little bit stronger.
Yeah, a little bit. You know.
John, when are you going to make a game for the N-Gage?
Oh, I'm already almost finished with it.
You have to make a game for every platform.
Yeah. So. Yeah, you know, just like I'm going to throw a full-throated, endorsement of Trails of Cold Steel out there and just say, hey, along with, hey, go play Trails in the Sky. Like, that series needs more love. But then again, I've seen a lot of people getting on that bandwagon. It seems to have
actually been getting a lot of love this year. I've seen a lot of people as well getting in on it.
After 5 just started it, John finished the first one. Freezing Inferno just finished the first one. Rhett, where are you at?
The second one. I'm actually planning to jump into it real soon.
What are you sighing for?
You got good games to play. It's nice.
Yeah. Like, why are you sad about having good games to play?
That first one just seems so hard to get into.
Like John said when we did this last time, it is totally fair to say that if you're not into where that game's going by the end of the second chapter, you're probably not going to be on board for the rest. And that's not to say that by the end of the second chapter, that's all that game does. It's just saying that, like, they're planting seeds of things getting bigger, and, like, the second chapter is amazingly good.
Yeah. And the prologue is the only part that's really just, like, not much conflict.
Okay, so the real reason I'm sighing is because if I start over, I really should just replay the prologue again.
I know, but the prologue's just a couple hours, and then you get into the good stuff.
It's like 7 hours.
Only if you do the side quests. We found out by watching After 5 play that you can get by selling a lot of time in Mirage Sepith for real good money to keep yourself in all the gear you'll ever need. Motherfucker
I did like a third of the side quests.
Yeah, like you don't even have to bother. The only game that I will not let anybody play and not do all the side content is Trails 3rd. Like it is invaluable. But by that point, the side stuff is handled in a much different way. It's not side quest. It's something totally different.
How's the side stuff in Cold Steel?
It's very you get it's part of the progression of the main game. So you'll usually get one side quest you have to do, and then there'll be one or two more that it's just hey, these aren't required, but if you want to do them, go ahead. But none of them. But it's not the only way you make money. In fact, you don't get money from side quests in Cold Steel. You just you get Sepith Mass, and then you sell those, and that's how you get your money from just fighting. So it progresses a lot more like a normal, a more modern RPG does.
Cool.
So that's Trails of Cold Steel. I can't really talk about it anymore without spoiling shit, and I'm not going to be playing 2 for another couple months or so. But again, go play those games. They're beautiful and amazing, and Falcom is just incredible. Trails is low-key their best series.
Yep. So how cold is that steel?
It's pretty damn cool by the end.
Who's the best girl?
Who's the best girl? Instructor Sarah.
Okay.
She's incredible.
Oh, is she eye patch?
No. She's the purple-haired instructor lady with the gun and the sword.
Okay, that's a good start.
She's sexy as shit, and she's got a great attitude. I love her to bits.
There seem to be a lot of cute girls in that game.
In terms of classmates, Fee is the best. She's the silver-haired girl.
Who's short blue hair?
Short blue hair. Who's short blue hair?
I don't know. I thought I saw somebody like that in one of your screenshots.
She has there's a long blue-haired girl named Laura. She's incredible. She has a big-ass sword.
Also good.
Yeah, she's got big old sword. It's pretty big.
One says Rei Ayanami.
Yeah, Rei Ayanami. Nailed it. All right. So who are we going to pass to?
I think we should just pass to John.
Do we pull the bandage off now and get it over with?
Trails of Cold Steel. More like trails of poop out of a butt.
Whoa!
In a sewer.
Listen to this guy.
Trails of Keyblades.
I played a real RPG.
Oh, boy.
Oh, man. This is getting hard.
Get the pillow out.
I'm
already laying on mine. Luxuriating. I played Kingdom Hearts.
Yay.
You know what's funny is that I expected this to be like Fate, where I played it and everyone would be in my feed and my mentions sighing the whole time. Turns out everyone in the world loves Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah, that's basically fucking weird lately because all of these years on my Twitter, I've seen motherfuckers bagging on that series all the time. But ever since the goddamn Kingdom Hearts 3 trailer came out, everybody in the world is like the biggest fucking fan now.
Holly, those trailers are pretty good.
Like, I've literally muted Kingdom Hearts because I don't want to hear about it.
I wondered why you couldn't. I wondered if you'd muted me.
It looks exactly like Toy Story.
Oh my god. Tinker
Wow.
Gemini says Kingdom Hearts 1 is good. I have that game. I finished it. I disagree.
What? Well, that's the one I'm talking about. I really liked it. All right, so
I'm not going to bag on you the whole time. Go ahead.
I know, don't worry. So Kingdom Hearts 1, I think it's a game with a real strong start and a real strong finish, and a bunch of pretty okay Disney shit in the middle.
It's got a bunch of flab in the middle.
And then it left me. Well, it's only like 20 hours long, so it didn't take me. Like, I chewed through it in a week. Like, it didn't feel. If it had like one more Disney World, and I would have been like, okay, I'm getting bored, y'all. But then it pushed into the whole like 5 or 6 hour end game, made me pretty happy. It's basically I got 2 pretty good real good last dungeons after some flabby bits in the middle.
What anime did it remind you of?
Oh man! Don't make me defend that.
Do it.
No, I just want to.
I said it was like Utena a little bit. The story, it really lands the story beats that it needs to in the climax, I think. It's just it's a very simple, broad, like, story. Like, it made me think of, like, Danganronpa 1, actually. Like, the hope versus despair stuff. Only Danganronpa obviously has a lot more character work, because it has way more dialogue and time.
Mm-hmm.
But just that sort of archness, I guess. Or it's just that it gave me everything I wanted out of Final Fantasy VIII and didn't get.
Oh, yeah, okay, that's better.
I'll accept that as an answer.
Because Final Fantasy VIII gave me nothing.
Yeah, it had, like, the core relationship between Riku and Sora is very strong, which is very similar to the relationship between, like, Squall and, what's-his-face? Seifer. Only they just completely nail that relationship. They just... Everything about how they explore... Like, when you first meet Riku, when you start the game, you're on an island with a few other characters, and, like, you fight a couple of those characters, they're Final Fantasy cameos, and they're pretty hard, and then you can beat them, and then you go fight Riku, and he's just really, really hard. And then every time you try to refight him, it keeps track of the number of times you lost. And he's like, wow, I've lost 20 times in a row.
Do you actually fight him 20 times?
I did as a kid. I remember seeing it get that high. I did not this time because I was like, fuck this. And then, like, Riku comes back, and his little bits are interspersed throughout the Disney nonsense. And then he has a real good climax. And then he had a moment near the end that made me cry. And... yeah, so they just had a relation. Again, it's like a very simple relationship. I think there are only like 4 original characters in the game. There's the Kairi, Riku, Sora, main villain. And then the original stuff, it just lands exactly the way it needs to. And I really liked the ending a lot. I thought it was cool and good and better than I expected it to be. I thought the fighting was, like, okay. Like, it basically it's dumb.
It is a
like
functional battle system.
Yeah, it's just kind of it's brainless, but it does get kind of hard near the end, which is probably it needed to.
Yeah, Kingdom Hearts 2 looks way more brainless.
Yeah, it does.
Huh. Is the combat at all similar to Final Fantasy 15?
No, it's much better.
Okay.
Yeah, Final Fantasy 15's combat's garbage.
Yeah.
Because
sorry, right.
For some reason, no, I mean, I'm not defending the comment in 15, but I always thought Kingdom Hearts was always kind of go for that same, like, semi-real time, like, you're holding attack instead of actually just doing attack.
It's all real time, and you still kind of use a menu system throughout it, but it kind of, like, you have to kind of play it to get what it's trying to do.
Yeah.
Like, you're moving around and you're still using a menu.
Huh.
You use the menu with the D-pad while moving around with the... You use the menu with, like, the right stick and then the... Move around with the left one. But you only use that to, like... And then there's a shortcut system for casting magic spells. So it's not, like... So you can only have, like, 5 items at a time.
It's Secret of Mana.
Oh my god, Jetstorm just said that!
I'm not looking at chat, I swear to God.
Yeah, Jetstorm just said it's 3D Secret of Mana, but with a real time menu.
That's funny.
Taylor says, John, finish Digimon Cyber Sleuth before I visit you, fucko. I would love to. Somebody took my PlayStation 4 and my TV, so I can't. I'm sorry.
I need to play Cyber Sleuth. That's on my list.
Really? You think that's it? It's actually like poly good?
It actually looks good. I've seen a couple of Let's Players I watch play a bit of it, and I thought, hey, you know what? I could probably get into this. Yeah. Main character's hot too. Oh, that's a plus. Yeah, that's a real plus.
Yep. Yeah, Digimon Cyber Sleuth really endeared itself to me at the beginning. But yeah, Tom brought up Hollow Bastion. It's this real good, big, spooky castle. And that's where all the really good stuff with Riku happens. It's like you spend like 4 hours there.
That's
like
the only part of the game that stands out to me all these years later.
Yeah.
Fair. And then they have basically it's like they had the really good 80s RPG style final dungeon.
Yeah.
And then they have like I thought it was really good, like late 90s abstract PS1 RPG final dungeon after that.
Yeah.
Which I also really dug. And then again, like, it starts strong. I felt a relationship with these characters right away. Then you play this kind of licensed Disney game feeling weird thing for, 15 hours. And then you end strong. I like that.
5 hours of good content, 10 hours of shit.
Not shit. It's just, there's also, like, the really niggling problem throughout the whole thing is, except, like, it has to be, like, that there are multiple teams working on it, because the good stuff is pretty much solid, but, like, they're really bad at event flagging most of the game.
God. I remember wandering around so many places in that game not knowing how to progress.
Yeah, you're wandering around trying to trigger cutscenes and then wandering back to places that you have been already and suddenly triggering new cutscenes, and that's the only way to trigger progression?
Yeah, it's exhausting.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I did that for the Tarzan level, which was very bad. Very bad. And then for the rest of the game, if I got stuck, I just peeked at a guide.
Yeah,
which is shitty, but it meant that I didn't have as much problems with that. It made me feel really good going back to Illusion of Gaia, where I could mostly just like play and you just had to keep playing, and that's all, and then you can have a good time.
It makes Illusion of Gaia feel good.
Back of the box quote right there.
But I thought the writing in Kingdom Hearts was a lot stronger. Like it's sort of like it would be really, really good on point writing for like a dungeony a play focused game. Like it's staying in the background for most of the game and just letting you fight through the areas. And then when the story does step to the forefront, it nailed it for me. So, but then the play itself is kind of bad.
It's janky as fuck.
Yeah, well, it's just really obtuse and clunky. It doesn't communicate well. And the fighting's fine, but they don't actually... There are very few levels where you're just like fighting through a dungeon maze. Like there's Monstro, Hollow Bastion, the end game, but besides that, it's not really doing the beat 'em up thing. It's mostly just it's a wander around, talk to people, solve kind of weird adventure game puzzles, but not really.
Yeah.
It's like it's just trying to be like, all the puzzles you do in Zelda in order to before you do the dungeon. It's like they made. That's one way to put it. It's. Oh, here you are.
What?
There you go. Sorry, my speaker fucked up for a second.
Okay.
Okay, it's basically like they made a whole game that was all Sonic Adventure Hub World sections.
Oh,
Oh
boy,
my
that would be fucking incredible.
I mean, that's kind of it.
Yeah.
And, which is, bold. I would have, but I really would have liked it if they just had more straight dungeon beat 'em ups. If it was, like Drakengard or something, where I'm just doing the dumb fighting, and it's functional, and then I get to the good story beats. But instead, it has to do, all the Disney shit. And I love Disney, so that was kind of weird that. But it's a 2002 PS1 or PS2 game. Like, it's not going to really compare with, best animation ever.
No.
You know what the structure of this kind of sounds like to me? Is how Psychonauts starts as a platformer, then has like 10 adventure game levels, but you're playing them as a platformer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then the last level is a super hard platformer again.
Oh, yeah.
But like, it doesn't build to that. It just is an adventure game for 90% of it.
Yeah.
And then,
it just throws you to the wolves.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think the thing is that the battle system would hold up to being like a 10-hour game. So,
yeah.
Like the progression with the battle system is actually really strong. Like right before the final boss gauntlet, there's like a 10-minute sequence where you're just locked in a room while a door slowly peels open, and you just have to keep fighting and staying alive. And it's actually really tense. And cool.
But it sounds like it doesn't really build to that.
No, it does build to that but only because there's like the 5 hours of Hollow Bastion and then the little bits of fighting interspersed throughout the rest of the game.
Yeah.
It only needed like 6 or 7 hours of build up because it's not that deep or clever or interesting.
Yeah.
But this game is like marketed as the Disney thing. Like that's kind of what people were there for originally.
When the original stuff is why it's good.
Yeah. Well, don't worry, because I hear there's way more of the original stuff in all the sequels.
Exactly. Like, I kind of am excited about that. That it's going to be, like, way more original characters, a lot more weird, dumb bullshit, a lot more Nomura.
Oh, gosh.
I want more of that, because that's the good part.
Give me that Nomura.
Because it was a good story that landed. It shouldn't have been as good as it is because it is like the Square. Oh, we made the Disney game, but then
like the fact that there's all these little kid versions of Final Fantasy characters at the start is so weird.
Yeah.
Also, they have like 10 Final Fantasy cameo characters introduced in the first hour, and then none,
and then just dead
the rest
stop.
of the game. I think Sephiroth's an optional final boss. Nothing else.
Yep.
An optional boss.
He's an optional arena boss.
God. So, yeah, I tried playing this game like 6 times as a kid, and then always gave up like 3 hours in because it's so fucking obtuse.
Yeah.
And bullshitty.
Giant Bomb tried playing through this game recently, and I think they gave up on Tarzan World because they were just these episodes were like 80% of them being lost. Basically.
Yeah, that's not far off.
So, and they weren't really paying attention either, so they were getting like extra lost.
God, oh my God!
But yeah,
it's
amazing to me.
So bad.
It's amazing to me you saying that there's like 4 original characters in this game, because from what I've heard, that's definitely not how it ends up. Where it's like this whole organizations and all these characters and like characters that aren't in the first 2 games being super important in the third one.
Yeah, exactly.
Because of all the weird spin-offs.
Because those Disney licenses get harder and harder to pay for.
Yeah,
but they're definitely paying them for the next one though, with all the Pixar stuff. Yeah. They got Frozen.
Oh, there you go.
Frozen?
That's all you need. That's all you need.
I want a Frozen world. I want to play that because I love Frozen and I love the Disney characters. It's gonna make me so happy.
And they got that super hot Pirates of the Caribbean franchise again.
Oh God.
That's the one that made me go, oh fuck, it looks like Assassin's Creed now. I'm kind of interested. Like the pirate one.
Wait, is that in the new one too?
Yeah.
Because they had that Pirates of the Caribbean level in Kingdom Hearts 2. So that's going to be 3D 2004 PS2 fucking Johnny Depp. God.
Oh, and the second one, yeah, I bet it looks real rough. Because it looks real good in 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, human characters are not going to age well.
No.
Yeah.
No, not at
I
all.
went to the store and bought Chain of Memories and 358 over 358 divided by 2 days. So I might dive further into that. Just talking to Wuzzy about it. It sounds like it's a series where there's a lot of fluff, and then they have a handful of moments that they make land pretty well, and I'm pretty here for that.
I'm not here for 80% fluff and anything. I want to do shit that fucking matters.
You want to look at Polly over here. She wants her games to be good all the time. Oh.
What a fucking weird what a weird expectation.
I mean, that's kind of how I would describe Final Fantasy 15, though, where it's just kind of this big mess of stuff, and then the ending lands incredibly well. And
I like Kingdom Hearts a good bit more than Final Fantasy 15. Sorry. I like Kingdom Hearts a good bit more than Final Fantasy 15.
I know, but the ending of Final Fantasy 15 is like infinitely better than it has any right to be.
Yeah, you don't expect it to cohere at all. Like, you expect it to be dumpster fire, and then it manages to kind of pull it together.
5 scenes in a row all land incredibly well and is super emotional. Yeah. Man, what was the rest of the game doing, huh?
Too many cup noodles.
Yeah.
Too many cup noodles. God. So, yeah, Kingdom Hearts is probably a not good series, since I sort of imagine this might be as strong as it gets.
People really fucking love Kingdom Hearts 2.
Wait, I thought that was the one people hated.
No, it's both. It's both.
Yeah,
I think Kingdom Hearts fans love it, and then that's I knew that because it's the one that Pat hated. So I didn't play any Kingdom Hearts games for ages because Pat hated Kingdom Hearts 2 and put it on his worst games of all time list.
I think it's like, if you're a Kingdom Hearts fan, you have to like 2. But if you liked 1 and then hate 2, then you're not a fan. But it seems like everybody likes 1.
Okay. Except Polly.
Yep, very, very
pretty understandably, considering, again, all the stuff that's not super great. We have a guide, and it's pretty snappy. Yeah. Like each level kind of builds to its own little climax with, like, you fight Ursula and you fight Oogie Boogie, and it's cute.
It hits like the notes that it needs to during that squishy middle part, but they're not always good.
Oh wait, there's a Nightmare Before Christmas level?
There is a Nightmare Before Christmas level. It's pretty cute. All the characters. I think the Nightmare Before Christmas level has some of the best, like, model animation. Like, Jack looks a lot better than, like, compared with, like, the Aladdin characters. Jack looks really good.
Yeah.
Well, do they lower the frame rate to make it look like stop motion?
No,
they don't. I think so. It made me think. So Nomura and all of his crew likes Nightmare Before Christmas, especially.
Weird.
That makes sense. Weird. So, yeah, I had a nice time, and I think I'd be interested in seeing more of the series. I want to play an RPG that's, like, good all the time before diving into more, though. So I'm probably going to try Trails SC soon.
That's a good choice.
Yep.
One thing about Kingdom Hearts. So you played the original PS2 release.
Oh, yeah.
I am real curious if re-releases of that game, which there are many of, have added anything to make it connect to the sequels better. Because it sounds like kind of a one-off, like with a real strong ending right now.
Yep.
So I wonder if they, like, snuck some stuff in to kind of retcon it a bit. I
think they do. I remember that I think they add an Org 13, like,
Oh, yeah. That's weird.
Yeah, it's weird. It's
because it definitely does not seem
as much as they can.
Was Kingdom Hearts 2 even the second game, or was
it was the third game after Chain of Memories?
Okay.
And apparently you have to play Chain of Memories to be able to understand a lot of stuff in the beginning.
So immediately after 1, then, is when it started to spiral.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it's just a series of games that you have to play in order, and some of them are not.
That's right. They did 1.5 final mix, and then 1.8 final mix.
Yeah. I just went through
2.8 final prologue.
Yeah.
This is all prologue to 3.
All right, I stripped it down. It's just 1, Chain of Memories. 2, 358 over 2 days. Birth by Sleep. Dream Drop Distance. And then I guess there's that final prologue game that's 2 hours long. So like seven games total in like, or like 6 games total in like 16 years. Like compared with like Assassin's Creed.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like Brotherhood. What even is that? Is it 2? Is it what's Revelations? I don't know.
Brotherhood is the game after 2, so it's the third one.
Oh, it's so confusing, Rat. I don't understand. I thought Ansem was the villain. What are you talking about, Rat? I thought Desmond was the guy.
Desmond died at the end of 3, spoilers.
No, what? Shit!
What?
People got so mad about that.
Assassin's Creed is so confusing, y'all. Ugh.
I know what John's doing here. I know what John's doing. And it's making me laugh.
The thing about Assassin's Creed is after they killed Desmond at the end of 3, everybody stopped giving a shit about the story, which was basically why they did it.
So they didn't have to care anymore.
Yeah, literally.
Is Desmond in like the 2? There's like a trilogy of Assassin's Creed 2.
Yeah,
games,
there's
right?
1, 2, Brotherhood, Revelations, 3, 4, and then I kind of forget.
2.8 prologue. There's a GBA game somewhere.
I don't even fucking know about the handheld games.
Oh, and one thing I know for certain, Chain of Memories apparently has like a lot of recycled areas from 1. So why would anyone play the PS2 remake of Chain of Memories? Like, now I can see all these areas reimagined in 3D. Wait a minute.
Oh, because it was a GBA game?
Yeah, they made a GBA game with really pretty pixel art that remixes a lot of the areas from 1. But then they remade it on PS2, so now it's just 1
a 3D game.
Hard battles so
so stupid.
Yeah, but that's probably the version on like the compilations and stuff now.
Yeah,
like,
totally is.
They totally erased the old one. Some of those compilation versions though are apparently like
just cutscenes,
recap videos.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I think they remade like the 3DS one entirely.
God, that's funny. Yeah, that everyone I know that hates Chain of Memories that has talked to me
played the PS2 one.
Played the PS2 version. So,
funny that.
Yeah. So that's my Kingdom Hearts experience. 1's a solid self-contained thing, I think. So with a bunch of faults, but I had to get
a bunch of faults that picky people like me are not going to look over.
Because you want things to be good all the time.
I know. It's so weird to have that.
I don't want to eat your peasant food. Let me have the feast all the time. Only your finest wines for Polly.
Oh, okay.
Good.
So with that, Kingdom Hearts done, I guess. Rhett, I guess you're gonna take us home with some Mario.
The Mario.
Super
Mario. Oh, yeah.
That was not good all the time.
What are you talking about, Taylor? Nier Automata was good all the time, or I wouldn't have finished it. I only finish games that are good all the time, except the times that I finish games that aren't good all the time.
Well, you quit them, and then you get mad. And
I quit,
then
I get mad. we call it the polycycle.
Yeah.
They made a Pop Team Epic comic about me.
Fuck
this shit, I quit. Throw the controller.
The endgame climax was so good, though. I don't understand. Taylor.
Are you talking about Kingdom Hearts?
That's much better than Kingdom Hearts.
Okay. We can all agree on that.
Yeah. Probably not Wuzzy.
Okay, stop looking at chat, because I can't see it.
Okay. Go for it.
So, I bought a Switch, and a shitload of accessories in Zelda.
Yeah?
And then I'm sitting there like, I sure did spend like $500 for one game. I should get some more games for this thing. So I bought Mario.
That's probably a go-to.
Yeah, that was like the number 2 game I wanted on the system.
Yeah?
And last weekend, I fucking crushed through that game.
In like 2 days?
I bought it Saturday afternoon, And Sunday evening, I defeated Bowser.
Jesus Christ! How many stars did you find?
204.
Wow.
Because they are fucking everywhere.
Yeah, that's sort of the thing that bothers me about that game and the way I see people play it. It just looks so stilted and janky when you're just literally walking 2 feet and finding another moon.
There are definitely moments where they are just as densely populated as Korok seeds. And it starts to feel a bit silly. Like every time in Zelda I found a Korok seed super quickly after another one, I would clip it on the Switch because you can record a 30-second clip. So I would look back to see if I had found 2 within 30 seconds. And then that happened a few times in Mario where it's like, oh my god, did I just get 2 in 30 seconds? And the answer is yes. So that game's really good, but it still kind of left me a bit cold for some reason. Even so, I don't know if it's because I like obsessively played like 10 hours on Sunday and then finished it.
Because sometimes that'll color your final opinion on a game, I think.
Yeah. How much post game did you do?
So we'll get to that.
All right, cool.
The answer being like 0.
Okay.
But like, yeah, because I obviously may have burnt myself out a bit after playing.
Because you played it right after Zelda. Just like poor me. Just like I did, basically. Only in reverse.
So, like, that game's obviously not bad because it's incredibly fun and I was able to play it for, like, I got into it. Like, I haven't gotten into many games lately. Like, so I'll play a game for like 30 minutes and be like, oh, I'm good, and then move on to something else. This was like, I'm just going to keep getting these damn moons and then see what the next world is.
Fuck yeah, moons.
Get the moons, get like a bag of Doritos.
Always going to have a home here for that reference.
I don't think the movement in that game ever clicked for me, which is kind of crazy because, like, that's the whole thing, really.
So what's different about it? What feels weird about it to you?
Almost like... So I skipped 3D Land and 3D World. I've only played, 64, Sunshine, Galaxy 1 and 2. Mm-hmm. So I'm skipping over the kind of off ones, then going back to, like, kind of that main successor to Galaxy. And the feeling I kind of had was like, maybe it is time to reevaluate these controls a bit, where it's like, almost like they looked at Mario 64 speedruns and were like, oh, let's make a game for them. So you end up with this thing that's way too technical for its own good. And it's just like, why do I need like 8 different jumps of varying heights?
You're getting to be King of Fighters territory now.
Yeah.
Got 8 different kinds of jumps.
And the other thing that drives me nuts about that game is the game is also incredibly afraid that you're not going to know the controls.
Oh, so no.
It does 2 things. One, when you're traveling between worlds, Cappy will just be like, hey, did you know about the guidebook that'll tell you all the moves? Here, let's read from it, and it'll tell you a random move you can do. Like, to ground pound jump, do a ground pound, and then jump immediately. Because that's the thing now. You ground pound, hit the ground, then jump immediately, and you go higher that way.
What the fuck?
Which makes no sense.
Like, no, not at all.
So
I guarantee if you try to do that on concrete, you're just going to shatter your tailbone.
Yeah, it's like kneeling before you jump with like the ZL and then jump. That makes a little sense. You're kind of building up to it and then jumping. This is just total opposite momentum. You're hitting your ass on the ground and then springing off of that somehow. But the other
reaction is equal and opposite reaction.
The other thing the game does that is insane to me. So the main mechanic in this game is that you throw your hat on enemies and can take them over for a bit. If you stop moving as them for like 3 seconds, it'll flash the controls on the screen.
Oh my god.
In spite of the fact that all of them are 2 buttons. and one of them is always either jump or run. Yeah. So they're basically 1 button. I've had it tell me the controls in the middle of a boss refight, meaning I already beat this boss. I'm already like hit it twice. It's doing an attack. I stand still for a couple seconds, and the game is like, hey, did you know you can press B to extend your legs? Like, yes, game, I got it.
Oh my god.
Insane.
That kind of over-tutorializing just gets on my fucking nerves.
It got on my nerves. It's just like, it's not offensively bad, but it's just like, why? And it's also a little weird that a lot of the captured enemies, you have to hold down a button to run, but you don't with Mario.
That seems really counterintuitive.
It's really weird. And speaking of counterintuitive, I played with the Pro Controller, and the first thing this game does is go, oh, you should play with the Wiimotes, or whatever they're called now. The Joy-Cons. Yeah, the two Joy-Cons. You should play with them held separately, because then you can do motion controls.
Oh boy! Well, just what everybody wants to do.
This game shoves motion controls in so hard, and it's so annoying. So I mentioned all the captures are 2 buttons. They're actually 3 button, except the third button is always shake the damn controller up and down. So it's like you play as a frog, and it's like, press any button to jump, or shake the controller to jump a little bit higher.
Oh,
and that
fuck off.
Drives me nuts. All of them are like, just shake the controller if you want to go a little bit further. Maybe get that moon up there if you do that. And then Mario, like, you press Y to throw the hat, but if you basically whip the controller out like it's a boomerang, don't fucking throw it though, he'll spin the hat in a circle, which is actually really useful. And
that's the only one I kept having to do.
And then if you throw the controller up, he'll throw the hat straight up, which I literally never found a use for, but it's there, and it's just like, this is a 2-button game most of the time. You've got or I guess it's 3-button, but you've got 2 face buttons and 3 shoulder buttons that are never used, and can't you just put some of that stuff up on there? You know?
Or maybe not be so, obscenely technical.
Or maybe
in a Mario game.
Yeah. But that's the thing where it's like they seem to design this for the speedrunners.
And the speedrunners make it look gorgeous.
Yeah, and it looks incredible. So this game did one thing I just couldn't believe, though. With all this tutorializing on the controls, they did a thing that was shocking to me. They told me a new move in the last level. In the last level, they say, hey, did you know you can air dive? And I'm like, what? Because I had done it once by accident and couldn't figure out how to do it again. To air dive, you press ZL, which is like your left shoulder, in the air, and then you know how Mario kind of spins, does a 360 in the air before ground pounding?
Yeah.
You do that. During that spin, you press jump again, and he'll launch himself forward. So it's basically kind of your equivalent of a double jump. And they don't tell you that till the very end of the game.
What?
I broke Polly. But here's the even worse part. You watch speedrunners play this game, and they make it look so effortless and cool, and all the crazy shit they're doing where they're throwing the hat out and then jumping off the hat and just making these incredible distances. How you actually do that is such a finger fuck that I can't basically do it. You've got to jump, press Y to throw the hat out, hold Y so that the hat stays in place.
If you release it, then it comes back to you, yeah.
Yeah, if you release the button, the hat will come back to you, which is important in a second. Then you press ZL to start the ground pound spin, release, and extremely quickly press Y again to dive forward without the hat coming back to you. And then you'll do the air dash and land on the hat and get another jump off of it.
Oh, God. That sounds so ugly to try and do.
And that's when I was like, man, Hat in Time had really good controls. Because that game literally has the exact same air dash, except it's just a button.
Yeah.
So in that game, you just jump, double jump, which Mario doesn't have. And then if you press attack, it does an air dash exactly the same as the Mario Odyssey one.
Yep.
And it's just, you don't have to mess with holding buttons down at certain times and hitting a shoulder button. And it's just like, man, it just feels kind of way overcomplicated for its own good.
Yeah.
And it feels like an overcorrection from 3D World where they took out almost all of that. It's just...
Yeah, and people were super happy when they added it in, and I'm sure the speedrunners are super happy. And it does look cool if you get good at it, but the game's also not hard enough to nearly justify it on a regular playthrough.
No.
Because like, I've got 8 jumps, but just regular ass jumping gets me where I need to go. So why do I need to know about like? I mean, I guess there's wall jumps and stuff, and I never triple jumped in that game. I know it's there. But like a lot of the areas aren't kind of big enough of a runway to do the 1, 2, woohoo, and then the third one's higher. Yeah. Like I never actually did that, but you use that in Mario 64 constantly because it's really useful. So I don't know. And then the post game stuff, I'm gonna dig into it more at some point, but I was kind of burnt out on the game at that point. And it's also like, oh, there's just twice as many moons now.
Oh, good.
And a lot of them are just laying around.
Some of them are just out in the open with nothing around them.
Yeah, and all the extra ones, they just put them on the map so you know exactly where they are.
Yeah, that just sounds so checklisty. That sounds so lazy.
You open up this thing and it just puts like 20 moons in the level that weren't there before, and then the map opens up and puts X's right where they are.
Oh,
it's
God.
Incredibly weird. So
it was so weird because people were like really horny for the post game too. Like, oh, it's better than the main game.
I don't understand people thinking the post game is better than the main game.
Yeah.
I think it's because sometimes the moon will just be out in the open, which is obviously lame as hell, and sometimes there'll be a warp pipe in a whole little sub area, which are admittedly better for sure. And I think those post game sub areas are the ones that actually start to show off this game as a platformer, because it's not really much of a
no, it's not really a platformer. It's more of just kind of like
platformer. Yeah,
it's kind of like a climb around and explore shit thing.
Yeah,
this is the part I really dug. I liked exploring all these little dioramas, not looking at the map, just finding moons as they came from poking around corners. My first visits to all the worlds were the most fun because it was just that poke around exhaustively.
Yeah, it has really good pacing on a first playthrough because it's just get enough to move on and then go on and don't look back, basically. There's more moons, but who cares? And then the post game is weird. Because the post game starts, I had 204 moons, and it's to unlock the first secret world, you have to get up to 250. And I'm like, okay, so I do that. And the first one is lame as fuck, so I won't talk about that. And then it's to get the second one, you need 500 moons.
Oh,
and I'm like,
God.
And I'm like, okay, game, I need to take a break from you right now. Because that's a bit of an ask.
Yeah, that's way too much.
I thought that was way too big of a jump. Because you can get up to 999, but apparently you can buy as many as you want at some point.
Yeah.
If you actually just collect every single one in the game, there's 880.
I explained this to you, and you didn't believe me. You're like, no, there's 999 that you can collect. I know this because you saw the same screen cap of someone that got 999 moons.
Well, I knew it stopped at 999. I thought it was there were 880, and then you had to buy the rest. I didn't know you could buy 200, and then there would just be still 80 left in the world that you haven't gotten.
Yeah.
That's dumb as fuck.
It's wild. I don't understand.
They should just cap how many you can buy so that it ends up even if you get everything.
Yeah.
You should overdo it like that. But whatever.
I like the post game in 3D World a lot more because it was basically 4 more worlds, all full of way harder levels.
That's what I think I wanted out of the post game, and maybe I'll get it if I play a little more. Is harder levels. But the problem is.
I hope you have a good time.
Oh, Jesus. Because the problem is, you explore these kind of dioramas that you've been in before, and then you'll find a warp pipe, and there's a new thing here, and you have a micro little challenge, and you go, that was okay.
Mm-hmm.
And the other thing, this game feels so kind of designed by committee. All of those will always have 2 moons in them. There's always the main path, and then there'll be if you look over there, the camera, there's a platform up there, and then it'll say side path moon.
Oh, good.
And it's it's so predictable in that way.
It's like the Korok seeds being on top of all the tallest mountains.
Yeah. There was one part in New Donk City where it kind of subverted that in a really clever way, where the sub area was a straight line, and you got to the end of that and got a moon, and then it went in a warp pipe and went to a different sub area that basically U-turned you. So you went back in the way you came, or back out the way you came. So then when you were in the hallway facing straight on, then you saw a different moon that you probably wouldn't have because it was above.
Was it the one with the crowd of people?
Yep.
Yeah, I remember that one stuck out to me for some reason. And that must have been why.
Yeah, that's like the one really good subversion of it, where they know you're going to have the camera this way, so that they show you the second time you come to that room. And I thought that was really clever. New Donk City is pretty good in general. Like,
I was about to say, that's like the best one, right?
It feels like it has the most fun exploring because there's just little kind of incidental things like that you can interact with. And I will say, basically what I'm saying is that that's the most Hat in Time level in the game.
I actually think my favorite might have been the forest world kind of early on. The one where you can fall in a pit and then just be like in the Dark Souls level with the T-Rex around there. Like the kind of like, I think that the saucer is the main boss, but like it just has this really cool ambiance to it.
Wait, there's a second T-Rex?
Yeah, there's more than one T-Rex. Oh, you didn't find it?
I didn't find that. Is the saucer boss the one you missed on your first playthrough?
Yep. Yeah. But I explored the rest of that world really thoroughly. I just didn't get the boss. Huh. I found plenty of moons, and I was like, whatever.
I thought there was a sub area there, but I never actually fell down. I was like, wow, there's only one T-Rex in the game.
Nope. Yeah, it's a really cool. There's a lot of there's one water world I think that I just like really liked the atmosphere of it.
Yeah, the two water worlds are really great. There's the kind of the
and the beach one. I love the beach one.
There's the beach one and the kind of the ocean palace one.
Yep, love both of those.
Yeah,
I loved a bunch of the levels just on my first playthrough. Like it's just that is the fun of it, is exploring. Yeah. It's weird that they fucked with the pacing with the post game and how they structured that.
Post game's kind of never going to have great pacing, but yeah, I think they overdid it.
Which is a shame because that's all of these games now. Like Nintendo wants to make every game like this thing that never runs out of content, I guess.
I think it's like I would appreciate the post content more if it was just like, here's a room with 50 warp pipes and they all just immediately lead to those little sub areas with the harder challenges.
That'd be great. Like, or just have they have the super levels pretty fun. The super levels are all fun, and it's like that. So I hope you have a good time with it. Yeah. But again, the super level in 3D World took me like 3 or 4 hours to beat. It was so good. Everything you said made me just be like, please. Oh, I wish they just re-released 3D World. It's everything. Every single thing you said, you complained about with Odyssey is addressed in 3D World. There's no tutorial. The tutorializing is almost nothing. There's very little text in general. It's just level after level after level. They're good levels, Brent, and post games.
You can't reference that anymore. He's just in it for the money.
And then it ends with like a 5-minute long super level that's just impossibly hard, and it completely pushes it as far. It starts out simple and fun, and then just pushes it as far as it can possibly go. Whereas Odyssey has so much stuff that there's no way they can push it as far as they can go. You have like 20 different things you can turn into. They can't explore all that and the super technical moveset. And they don't.
It's super weird.
And especially since it's barely a platformer to begin with, since it's a diorama explorer.
Yeah. Which is fine, but I just kind of never got that joy of exploring that I got from Zelda for some reason.
Yeah, and I replayed Mario 64, and again, just liked it better because there was less noise. Like, you get that diorama feeling. Like the one where you change the height of the water, and then there's a secret, if you fire yourself out of a cannon that you have to like super jump up to get to into the corner, then you can swim down and there's this whole like town.
Yeah, I love that part.
I love that. Like, that was as high as any high in Odyssey, and they did it without any of the noise, I think. So I don't like Odyssey as much as Super Mario 64. A very controversial opinion, I'm sure.
I don't either. I will say, though, the last, 2 hours of Odyssey's main story, when it just turns into Sonic Adventure 2...
It's pretty good.
It's very good.
Yeah. It's good.
It gets anime, Polly.
Oh, jeez.
They made Mario anime.
Mario, yeah.
And there's a real funny.
3D World does that, and it's really good in that game too.
I mean, Mario's
maybe not as much.
Mario's definitely been going down that route since Galaxy and
Yeah.
the whole fucking insane ending of that one. But there's a scene at the end of Odyssey where I thought they were going to redeem Bowser because like Mario picks him up and like kind of shakes his hand, and then they run and make a jump, and Mario just turns and like kicks Bowser in the face to propel himself forward, and I laughed so hard at that.
This is a dick move.
It's like, bye, have fun burning to death. Because I seriously thought they were gonna like have him reach out and like throw Bowser forward. It's like some momentum thing, and like, oh, they're pals now. It's like, nope. Fuck Bowser. He's creepy and he kidnaps girls.
Even Bowser's inside story, like they're not gonna be buddies at the end, but Bowser's inside story is the best Bowser ever.
Cool. Woo! That was a podcast.
All right, so
that was a good old 3-hour.
It was a good old. We whacked the 3-hour mark for the first time in a while.
Oh, I missed y'all.
Yeah.
I like talking to you.
So I want to thank everybody for stopping out tonight, whether you were by here for the live show or if you're catching this afterward. And of course, John, where are we going to find you?
farawaytimes.com or farawaytimes.itch.io, really.
Yeah, mostly there. Might want to be watching that space pretty soon.
Yeah, there's going to be some stuff there, I think.
Probably. That's what I think. Rhett, where can we find you?
I don't know. Polly's bed.
There you go. It's damn right. Damn right.
Damn right.
Yeah. What are we doing? We're ending
each other.
We're at yeah. This podcast.
Nice.
I don't know what that means.
Podcast ends the way it started. Some holes are getting filled.
God damn it.
And remember, we are the podcast that loves you. We are the only ones that love you. Good night.